Hey, Tyro. Hey, Paul. Hey, Brady. Dan competing with the NBA playoffs reviews. I think we're skipping the pre-show today because I'm late. I guess I don't need to change the caption. Hey, Kilby. Hey, Pokemon. Aldi isn't buying anything from China that's over $50 because of the tariffs. Hey, Kevy. Hey, Daniel. Hey, Layla. Hey, Earthling. Welcome, everybody. Dan came to save us. Hey, January. Hey, all. I think there's a cat hair in my eye, so it's going to start turning red. FYI. Hey, Brittany. The Great and Red Dan. Thank you, Michelle. Get that. Gonna get started very, very shortly. Hey, Caffeine. Hey, Rose. Matt. Ah, shit. I was gonna post the video today. Totally forgot about it. Trump is doing a good job. You think so? Request up. We'll talk about it. Thank you for the heart me's, everybody. What's your favorite Gen Alpha brain rot slang? Ohio? Hey, Zai. Hey, Sweet Pea. Great choice. Although I'm not gonna lie, I have been stuck on the Italian brain rot memes for a bit now. Paul, thank you so much for the $2.99. Thank you so much, Paul. I get my Staffy's hair in my eye all the time. Painful. Yeah, it's so with Puffy's hair, it wasn't so bad because I could pull it out really easily. Lyndon's hair is so fine that I can't even find it. I just have to wait until my body processes it, turns it into protein. New Pope alert. Y'all, hold on. So I think this is what my video was going to be about. Am I the only? Hey, Chris. Am I the only one? Okay, that all of a sudden found the patriotism that I haven't had in months when we got an American Pope in. Like, I don't like. I'm not Catholic, right? And I don't like follow sports or anything. But like, American Pope, I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. I heard the new Pope is anti-Trump. Yeah, so I've heard some base things from him. I've also heard some troubling things from him, but the troubling things were from like a long time ago. So far, I think good news. But I can't speak to it 100%. An American Pope that hates JD Vance, no less. That's a W in my book. He's anti JD. That says a lot, given that JD is the reason that he has a job, or he has a new job. I think the thing is, I don't know how any like Christian could take a religious leader seriously that supports Trump. Like I can definitely see religious leaders, especially for what's the word? For like types denominations. For denominations that are like super anti-abortion, I can definitely see religious leaders like not supporting either party. But to support Trump, it's like, okay, these guys didn't read the Bible, I don't think. This is not it. Me neither. Trump is that horrible. Yeah, no, for real. I didn't know we got a new pope already. Peyton mentioned you in his video. Yeah, I saw. ICE coming to my city soon. That's annoying. What's the difference between Biden and Trump? One of them is cognitively deficient, and the other one's Joe Biden. Dan hate, but no Jones hate makes me rage. That's a whole thing, man. That's a whole thing. We're not gonna get into that today. You know what we're doing today? We are debating. We are debating people that voted for Donald Trump. We're debating people that support fascism. We're debating people that hate the Constitution. We're debating people that support overspending. And that's why we are going to be speaking to Donald Trump supporters. All right, here we go. Okay, we're gonna go to our first guest when we hit 10,000 taps. I have heard, okay, because everything is through the grapevine. I've heard that's good for the algo. To not take guests until 10,000. But we do have a Trump supporter in line. So if we want to have more Trump supporters in line, we gotta pump the algo up. We gotta pump those numbers up, like in the Wolf of Wall Street scene where he's you know what I'm talking about. All right, here we go. If you're here for the first time, thank you so much for joining. We are live Wednesdays to Saturdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, doing live political debates, political discussions, and fact checks. We're also live for all major political events, or at least we try to be. So if you like this content, drop a follow, tap the screen. Thank you all so much. And we're going to go to our first guest now. Put the tap counter up. Oh, shit, it's not. Oh, Angela's not open. Okay, hold on, guys. Hi, welcome up.
What's going on?
Are you driving?
Nope.
Okay, well, there's an echo, and you sound like you're in a vehicle on the road. Can you solve all of those problems?
So I'm not driving.
Okay, I think your echo's better at least.
You want to debate or not?
Oh no, echo's still there. Bro, I hear the turn signal. Listen, I don't know if you think I'm as gullible as you when you believe Donald Trump's lies, but like, I'm really good.
So I can't.
Yeah, it's TikTok terms of service. It's not the liberal agenda or anti-free speech or cancel culture. It's TikTok terms of service. Come back when you're not driving. Okay. Go to the next guest. Here we go. Thank you for the heart maze. What's going on, Hector?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for accepting me.
No problem.
Yeah, so let's debate.
Okay. So do you have an answer to any of those questions?
Yeah, so first let me ask you, who'd you vote for?
Kamala Harris.
Okay. And why is that?
Where do I begin? I think in terms of policy, in terms of character, in terms of qualification, and in terms of the Constitution, she was the better candidate.
Okay, and why do you think that Donald Trump specifically was a bad candidate towards the Constitution?
Towards the Constitution? Oh, because he's attacked the Constitution on multiple occasions. So number one, he is against free speech and the freedom to protest.
In what sense?
Sorry?
In what sense? How?
So during his first term, he was talking about opening up libel laws so that he can sue news organizations that reported on him negatively, regardless of if those negative reports were factual. He sued a pollster because the polls didn't end up the actual results of the election didn't end up being exactly what the poll was showing, which that's not how polls work. He is against freedom to protest. We've seen that, given that he is deporting people just for exercising their First Amendment right in support of Palestine.
Well, what First Amendment right do they have if they're not a citizen of the United States?
Oh, okay. So most of the amendments in the Constitution actually apply to anyone living in this country. The ones that don't are the ones referring to voting, because obviously you have to be a citizen to vote. But when you are in this country, you have the right to freedom of speech, freedom to protest, freedom of religion. You have the right to due process. It doesn't matter if you're a citizen or not. You are afforded these rights by being in this country. Not to mention the fact that the people I'm referencing were people here legally.
Well, I'm not arguing whether they're legally or not, but what you're arguing is that even citizens of the United States, as long as they are in the United States, they get the same rights as a citizen.
Whenever the Constitution specifically says citizen, then no, which is the case for the amendments referring to voting. But in terms of due process, in terms of freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, yes. Yes, they do get this rights. That's right.
And where are you getting this from? Just out of curiosity.
The Constitution of the United States. No.
Which says that even
says all persons. That's right.
All persons what?
All persons that are within the jurisdiction of the United States.
Okay, let's see.
Can I ask how old you are?
Sorry?
Can I ask how old you are?
Yeah, I just turned 18.
Just turned 18.
I'm actually, just to tell you a little bit about myself, I'm the youngest nationally syndicated columnist. So I actually watch you quite often. I watch you debate, and I enjoy it.
Okay, I appreciate that. Who did you vote for?
I didn't vote. I didn't turn 18.
You just turned 18, right.
Yeah. Okay. 1 second.
Well, who would you have voted for?
I would have voted for Trump.
You watch me a lot?
I for fun. Like I enjoy watching people who I disagree with. Yeah.
You didn't hear? I've talked about like Trump attacking the Constitution a lot over the past 2 weeks. So, I don't know. I'm a little surprised that you needed to ask those questions. But
I mean, I just am reading the First Amendment, and I don't see the words "in the jurisdiction thereof."
Well, that's in the 14th Amendment specifically, in regards to due process.
Well, I'm not arguing. No, due process, I think, is a completely different battle than the First Amendment. I'm arguing that if you're not a citizen of the United States, you're not entitled to the same rights that the First Amendment entitles you to as, a citizen would. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand that. Have you read the Fifth Amendment?
Sorry?
Have you read the Fifth Amendment?
I have.
Okay. So I'm a little confused why you would think that these amendments don't apply to.
What does the Fifth Amendment have to do with the First Amendment?
Okay, hold on. We could just go through the whole Constitution if you want.
I mean, sure.
Because what the First Amendment does is it makes sure that no laws can ever infringe on people's freedom of speech, freedom of religion, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Nowhere does it say that you have to be a citizen for this.
Is Trump making any laws that are infringing on any speeches?
Well, Trump isn't making any laws at all, but he's taking actions that are infringing on speeches, like when he deported or he attempted to deport Mahmoud Khalil.
Is it not the executive branch's right to accept or deny visas according to whether they want a person in the United States to stay or not if they're not a citizen? What right does someone have to stay in the United States?
I think you're missing my point. If he has a valid reason to revoke someone's visa, that's fine. But if the reason is that he doesn't like them exercising the First Amendment right, then that is not okay.
Well, they don't have a First Amendment right.
So are you saying that we should be able to deport anyone that
is not a citizen of the United States? Yes.
Well, this person had legal status. You know that, right? They had a visa.
Yes.
Okay.
Still doesn't make them a citizen, and still doesn't make them a citizen or applicable to the First Amendment.
Let me ask you a question. If I can demonstrate to you that the First Amendment does apply to non-citizens, are you going to agree that Donald Trump doesn't have the right to do this?
It depends how you. It depends.
What do you mean it depends?
Well, we'll see. But try to prove me wrong.
Well, yeah, no. So what we do on this live is I have the person set the goalpost first so that they can't walk it back. So
Well, we'll see. I'm not sure. Well, if you can disprove me, then I'll agree. I'm not here. I'm not inclined to. I don't have an agenda. If that's what I'm trying to say. I generally want to speak with you. To generally want to debate. So I'm interested in what you have to say.
no, the Constitution does not specify whether the First Amendment only applies to citizens. Rather, those who wrote it talked about the people, in quotes. At the time the Constitution was written, many of the people were born outside the young country. Whether someone is fully protected by the First Amendment can depend on their legal status in this country. When evaluating whether someone may be granted legal entry into the United States, government officials may ask about the person's associations with other people or examine what they have said, written, or otherwise done. A person who is in the United States on temporary work permit is applying for a green card or full citizenship. The kinds of groups they belong to and whether they have written or said anything that is deemed dangerous or against the United States' interest may affect their application. That is when someone is applying, and that's also.
And I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What if you lied on your application? Let's say if just an example, let's say you support a terrorist group on your application, you didn't put that, and it turns out that actually in the United States you're actively supporting a terrorist group. Does that still would that still apply with the First Amendment or?
So I think I mentioned this before. If revoking the visa, if there's a good reason to revoke someone's visa, then I'm not particularly against it, as long as they get their due process, of course. But you can't just, or I don't think the president should just be able to revoke visas because they're exercising their First Amendment right.
Well, I mean, it's not like the president is preventing someone from exercising their First Amendment right just because he's revoking their visa.
No,
They could exercise their First Amendment
Thanks,
right
Obama.
in their own country.
Thank you, Lewis.
But
Wait. Oh, I'm sorry.
the president isn't taking any.
Do you know the story of Mahmoud Khalil at all?
Yes.
Okay, so he was in this country legally, right? You agree with that?
Yes. He had a visa. He was getting a green card, right?
Yes.
Like he had
a green card.
Yeah.
Okay. In this country legally. Okay. He's participating in protests.
Oh, just participating?
Oh. What was he doing? You tell me.
There was proof that he actually stormed Columbia's campus, and even when he was told to get out, he refused, along with many other students there. He was in an internment camp on Columbia's lawn.
He was in an internment camp?
I'm sorry, encampment. I'm studying Japanese internment camps on my own. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, so you're saying that he was in an encampment on Columbia's lawn where he was protesting?
Illegally.
What was illegal about it?
That it was on private property when he was told to move. It was trespassing.
It sounds like he was not charged with any kind of crime.
He was not, along with
that MAGA shit.
people on the
Try.
on the encampment.
Thank you, Lisa. Also, he was a student at that university.
Regardless if he was a student or not, if the university orders a specific group, and he was arrested. Actually, he was arrested. I mean, if he was specific, if he was told to be moved, or if he was told to move by the university, he has to move.
Okay, so why wasn't he charged with a crime?
because several other students in the same encampment were not charged with the crime. He was actually a leader in the encampment.
Can I ask the question again? Why wasn't he charged with a crime?
I just said several other people were not charged with a crime.
That's not answering the question in any way, shape, or form. Like it's a non sequitur. What does that have to do with? You're saying other people didn't get charged, so he didn't get charged?
Yeah, they didn't charge many people. He was not the only one that was in charge. He's not a special case.
Great. Okay, so he probably didn't commit a crime then.
No.
What do you think?
Several people in the
Brother, this guy
several people what?
stinks.
You're saying that if enough people commit a crime, then they won't be charged? Tell that to January 6ers.
Wait. Yes, I'm not comparing this to the January 6ers. What I'm saying is that even if he participated in the Colombia's occupation, his role was different.
I understand what you're saying. That would mean that he'd probably be charged with a crime if he had committed a crime. Like you came with the claim.
Wait. I'm sorry. I'm not saying. Maybe you understood me wrong.
Maybe.
I'm saying he was a part of these encampments. I'm not saying he committed a crime, because he actually. I don't believe he committed a crime.
Okay, thank you.
He was a part of the negotiations.
You just said that he didn't commit a crime. Thank you. We're on the same page there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Maybe I didn't mean to say that he did commit a crime. If that's
okay. So if he didn't commit a crime, right? Why was he deported?
Obama.
Because of his role of supporting a terrorist organization.
Well, there we go. That's a lie. He did not support a terrorist organization. There's no evidence that he supported Hamas.
Oh, really?
Yes.
There's no evidence that Mahmoud Khalil supported Hamas.
That's correct. He was protesting on behalf of Palestinians and protesting against the genocide in Gaza. What's ChatGPT say?
Actually, not using ChatGPT, but thanks for the idea.
All right, you lost the Dino vote, but I'm going to bring up Ange because she wants to come. The furious typing. Ange.
Gregory, are you in college?
I am not in college yet. I'm going into college soon.
Okay, so colleges are public universities. They're public campuses. They have common. I am hearing so much feedback. Hold on one second. Let me swipe out and back in. Okay, there we go. We also sign stuff, usually freshman year, about First Amendment and protesting on campus. And as long as we don't unduly interfere with classes, you can sleep on the campus if you feel like it. The school that I went to, the college I graduated from, I think the longest protest was like 410 days. They literally slept in tents in the middle of the square. This is not an abnormal thing. This has been going on since probably the 50s and 60s. It is 100% legal. You can go ahead and Google really quick the ACLU and the cases that have been tried for this exact thing. And you know who's not won a single one of them? The universities, because it's protected under the First Amendment.
Okay, so you think that the encampments at Columbia were not...
These are not encampments. I don't know why you just keep saying encampments.
What were they then?
It is a public space within a public university that they are a part of. I'm sorry, what?
Columbia is not a public university.
It is considered a public university.
No, it is not. That's just a false. Columbia is private.
Google Columbia's. They should have a code of conduct. You can pull it up on their website. Also, it's on every college's website.
Wait. Is Columbia a public university?
The campus is public.
And it could be shut down by the university. It's open to the public.
If he was trespassing, why wouldn't he charge?
He's a student there paying tuition.
No. That's not what I'm arguing. Wait. So,
Then
sorry.
I'm not understanding your argument.
What my argument is that he was taking part in those encampments, not physically sitting there, but he was a part of the negotiations, and he has said himself that he was in support and a part of those
I'm
negotiations.
still not understanding the problem. It's still protected under the First Amendment. He's a student at that college. He signed the same document that all of us sign.
But it's a private college. What do you mean?
He
Okay, it's a
was
private
attending that
college.
college.
Cool. He's a student
He-
there that pays
It
tuition
doesn't-
to go
it-
there.
Regardless, if he
So also, in addition, because we just had this happen, like I'm not sure which school it was, like last weekend, I think, to remove them from campus. You have to go through an entire legal process. The courts are involved, the police are involved. The
The
school
police
can sit there and
of-
say, "Hey, get out." They can't. They literally have to have them evicted
of what
from
university?
the area.
Of what university?
Any university, it doesn't matter. It's a
That's
public.
not
It's a the where they're at is considered public communal space.
No.
He is a student at that school that pays tuition.
No. If
Okay,
a
I have to-
private university
You can
tells
keep
I have to
saying
honor the
no.
Dino vote. I have to
You
honor the
can
Dino
keep
vote.
saying no all you want. The First Amendment still applies whether it's private or it's public.
That's
None of
his
that
fault.
matters.
I
He's
have
a
to
student.
listen. If you think it's false, then and he was trespassing, then he would have been charged. He wasn't charged, and even
No,
if he was,
exactly.
that's not a reason to deport somebody. Anyway, you lost the
What's
Dino
a
vote.
reason to deport
Grow up.
somebody? You know,
So I am probably wrong about Columbia being private or public. The
Columbia's
area
a private
is
college,
public.
but the campus,
Okay,
I believe the campus is public.
The communal area is public to anyone. Everyone can use it. And I know there's people in here that went to like universities that signed the same document all of us did that had the same rules in it. You are allowed to protest. You cannot, as long as you don't interfere with classes or movement, you can protest on campus. And if they really want you removed, they will go and have you removed. But they have to go through a legal process to have you removed. You pay tuition there, you sign documentation you are a student there, they take your money, you get to do whatever is allowed on campus. So, also, even if he wasn't supposed to be there, trespassing is a civil matter. It's not a criminal one in most cases unless he vandalizes it, and that still does not fall under the statute to have him deported.
And that's really the whole point. Like if even if he was trespassing, that's not a deportable offense anyway.
No.
All right, Ange, thank you. And
you can kick me. For
I
whoever corrected me in the comments, thank you. I tried to scroll back and get it, and I missed it. So whoever it was, I appreciate it.
thank you so much, Ange.
Yeah.
Also, just want to point out when I asked him for the proof that that Mahmoud Khalil was directly supporting Hamas, he was typing vigorously but never provided it. Something that right wingers really, really, really love doing is they love conflating support for Palestine or protesting against genocide as anti-Semitism and as support for terrorist organizations. When in reality, it's you can be against the genocide happening in Gaza without being for October 7th. So if he wants to pull up the source and bring it to me on a later date, I'd love to see it.
Hey Dan, good to have you back. You're a good man. Your first point about hate the Constitution, I find that interesting. The last conversation you did mention January 6th. Well, I'm just wondering, are you going to keep that same energy for BLM riots? Because yes, I am willing to criticize January 6th and condemn them. What they did was wrong. But at the same time, are you going to be a hypocrite, or are you also going to condemn the BLM riots with the property damage and where they attack the police officers?
I don't approve of anyone assaulting police officers, whether it's BLM or January 6th.
Right. Okay. Good.
I will
good.
say protesting because of the unjust killing of black men and women in this country versus protesting because you're sad that your guy lost by 7 million votes is a little bit different.
Yeah. I'll meet you on that. Okay, that's fair enough. That just we are acknowledging like there's not much of a difference. So they're equally wrong, right? We can both.
No,
agree
no,
on
no.
that.
That's not what I'm saying at all. That is not what I'm saying. I said I am
Well, just-
I am against assaulting police officers, but I agree with the BLM protests versus the January 6th protests, which were just crying. It's whining and moaning and trying to overthrow the government. These are like two vastly different things.
Yeah. No, I hear you on that part. You somewhat have a point. My pet thing is the property damage and then attacking the police officers. That's where I'm saying, that's my main.
Well,
main
how many?
point.
Can you tell me how many police officers died as a result of BLM protests versus how many police officers died as a result of January 6th?
They were injured. Remember their eyes? I believe someone aimed for their eyes. They aimed for their eyes. I think one got hit in the eye or something like that. It was pretty tragic.
Several police officers committed self-unaliving due to the events of January 6th.
Right. And so that's exactly why I said I would still condemn and criticize what happened on J6. I just also would like to condemn and criticize BLM riots as well, on the same as just as much. So
all right. Well, let me ask you a question. Do you agree with BLM protests that didn't result in riots? The 97% some odd of which that didn't result in riots?
I'll meet you there. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Are you sure it was 97% though? 'Cause that seems awfully high.
Like that.
Because if it's that high, wow, I didn't realize there were that many were peaceful. I thought most of them were not peaceful protests, according to my recollection. Yeah, there was so much happening around that time. I can't remember exactly.
The reports range between 93 and 96%. So I guess 97 is a little high. Between 93 and 96%.
Still, that's fair enough. That doesn't change your point. I mean, still, but I guess one bad apple can spoil the whole bunch. Sometimes that's all it takes. Like, if you have a loaf of bread, if one of those loaves of bread gets some mold, it will spread like wildfire, and all the bread will get some mold. So, but yeah, I'll meet you there. I'll meet you there. That's basically all I was wanting to get your opinion, because you mentioned January 6th in the last conversation, and it has to do with the Constitution. So I just found it interesting. But yeah. Good to have you back. You fill a spot that no other Democrat can fill. It's good to have you back. Back on live. So I enjoy watching. So all right, that's basically it. Though. Thank you very much.
All right. Rare rich poor not yelling event. Okay. Going to the next guest. Sorry, I was taken aback. I was waiting for him to yell into the mic. Hey Quinn. If you're here for the first time, thank you so much for joining. We are live. Thank you, Miss M. I appreciate that. We are live Wednesdays to Saturdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, doing live political debates, political discussions, and fact checks. We also try to be live for all major political events. So if you like this content, drop a follow, tap the screen. Thank you all so much. And we're going to go to our next guest now. I'm doing well, Quinn. How are you? Only one crash out per day? Yeah, maybe. He's been toning down recently. I think he's coming around. And they can never make me hate you. How's Mac? So she's alright. Did Liam get his van lifted? No, I was planning on bringing him up and saying, ha, you thought, and then dropping him, but he's not connecting, so it would have been funny. All right, going to the next guest. Came in late, didn't realize she was there. I'm sorry. I didn't think she was going to come over tonight, but couldn't resist. Hi, welcome up. Laser Wolf.
Don't boo.
Oh, that's an accident.
No, you're good. Thank you so much. Swearing, thank you for the level up sparks. Just joined. I'm surprised Dan's Patience is above a 5 at this hour. Well, I was a little late. I started a little late. No, Annika, I didn't watch the whole thing. I saw like a clip or two.
I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care.
Thank you so much for the money gun. Any connectors in the chat? And thank you for the whatever gift that was. Thank you so much. Can we get some guests that connect? Any internet users? Let's box. Chris, I cannot box with you. Naga Mobile is struggling today. Any Wi-Fi enthusiasts?
man. No more Oreos. No more Oreos.
How can someone support that, man? Anna, thank you for the hat and mustache. Okay, that person's not connecting. They voted for Trump and can't afford good internet. The problem is that they spent all their money donating to that racist lady that called a 5-year-old the N-word. Oh shit, Liam's back. Oh wait, this guy that was driving is back.
What's going on?
Hi, what's up?
So I wanted to kind of call you out for when that lady was sitting there lying boldly and you didn't call her out on her lies. Is that how you guys operate?
You mean when she said Columbia was a public university? And then afterwards, I said, well, the campus is public, but the university is private. And then she said, thank you for whoever corrected me in chat. That the lady you're talking about?
Yeah, but you waited till the very end and you're like, oh, yeah, I do think that, knowing, like, you could see the look on your face that you knew that what she was saying was misinformation, but you continue to just go with it.
Don't look at my face, please. I mean, I don't know what you want here. Like, she literally said thank you for those who
I
corrected
mean, we
me.
want transparency. I think everybody wants transparency, you know, with everything that's going on with all you guys, with everything that happened, with the whole Unfuck
we go.
America tour. It's a fucking disgrace, dude.
Anything else on your chest?
When's the accountability going to come out? When's the transparency going to come out? Don't you guys owe that to your party, to the people that
My
all the
party?
people that follow you guys?
What are you even talking about?
You play dumb now, huh?
No, I'd like
You
to know
guys are
what
real good at playing dumb.
I want to
and
know what you're
gaslighting
asking
people.
of me.
Well, I just like watching you closely,
I know you
listening
like
to the
watching.
live, and I'm like, dude, like, when's he gonna call her out on her bullshit? I'm like, no wonder the Unfuck America tour went to shit.
Yeah, you're right. The Unfuck America tour went to shit because Ange said that Columbia was a public university a minute before she said, actually, never mind, it was a private university. That's why.
That's not what she said, dude.
That's not what she said.
She ran with it till the very end and was like, oh,
How long
maybe
do you think
it
they were
is.
up there?
I don't know, maybe a couple minutes.
So we're worried about a
There she
couple minutes
goes.
now.
Here goes the liar.
I'm the liar. Have you
Yeah.
ever made a mistake ever in life? I really want to
Of
hear from
course.
a perfect person.
Of
because
course,
you make
but
it
be
sound like you're.
accountable and be like, hey, you know what? I might have made a mistake. Let me correct that.
Here's the fun part.
And let the
Here's the fun
person know
part.
that you're
Well-
debating, hey,
Hold on, let her finish talking, and then you can talk.
I corrected myself, apologized, but I'm still right because the campus itself is the school is private. The campus is public. You can go on our Discord where I just posted it if you'd really like to. But since you're perfect, I'd love to hear more about you never having spoke out of turn, never having made a mistake. At least I can take accountability. You just seem to be here bitching about something. Anything? No? I want to hear from the perfect guy, the perfect person.
I didn't know I was muted. I'm over there talking to myself. Thanks, guys. So, like I said, when I'm wrong, I'll admit it. I get checked on that daily, you know.
Mhm.
And I
it
corrected
actually feels
myself.
really good when you're like, you know what, I was wrong. Let me correct that. It's a good feeling.
Did you just hear what you wanted of the conversation, or what?
Well, no, I like to hear both points. I like to hear both sides. But like as you're speaking, I'm googling, I'm fact checking, and I'm
Please
trying to
do.
like.
You know what? Do you want me to send you Columbia's code of conduct, because I have it,
I've
where they
already looked it all up.
define that the space in which they protest is considered public. Would you like it?
So no,
You can
you
actually
went
go in our
back.
Discord.
I remember
I've
word for
posted it in our
word.
Discord twice now.
You went back to the 50s and 60s, and you said every single school campus is public, and you could literally sleep on the campus,
You
and that's
absolutely
actually
can.
illegal.
No,
It's
it's
illegal.
not. Where is it
It
illegal? What
is
is the law?
illegal.
What is the law
It
that
violates.
no, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Can I
Wait a
talk
minute.
without you interrupting
What
me?
is
See,
the
this is how you
law
know
that
you're
every
losing the
state
debate.
apparently has, that it's illegal to sleep on campus? Like I
It's
said, I mean,
illegal. You want to know why?
what's the law?
It violates a fire
No, no, no,
code. You
no. I
can't
want to
just
know
fall
what.
asleep on the
No, no. See,
concrete.
that's what the code of conduct is for. Because as long as you don't impede anybody's walkway, you don't use any personal or private information about other
Not
students,
true.
and that you do not disrupt classes, that's their rules. You don't do
That
any of
is
those
not
things, you can
true.
protest. Show me where it's not. Because the code of conduct,
You can
Dan can pull
literally
it up right
Google it,
now.
and it says that is illegal,
You
and it's
can
actually
Google
a crime, and you're violating a
protesting is a
fire code.
crime. Protesting
No,
is
no,
a
no, no. I'm talking
crime.
about sleeping. Why are you pivoting? I'm talking about sleeping on a
Genuinely,
college
no.
campus.
It's not. Did you go to college? You know how many times we slept on campus? Are you crazy? Like, for real? Did you go to college?
You cannot just pull up a fucking sleeping bag and fall asleep wherever
You
you want. It
absolutely
is
can.
illegal, and you will go to jail. You can
There are public spaces on almost every campus that they allow for protesting, because protesting is pretty standard in college. It's part of our First Amendment. So if you want to give me a college really quick, I can pull up their code of conduct. Hell, there's probably even a
you
map
don't
on
need
the
a
website
specific
that allows
college.
you to. Dan,
Just
I
put.
posted, and I think I sent it to you too. If you want
Let's
to pull up
put
the
it
code
on
of
the big
conduct
screen
for it,
for the chat,
please,
so we
where it
can
says that
expose
Columbia
the
University,
lying
it's right there.
Kamala supporting liberal you are.
Right there.
Right there.
No,
You
go
want
to
me-
Google and
you want
say,
me to read
can
it to
you
you?
fall
That's
asleep?
from the university directly.
No, can you fall asleep on college campus?
It literally says that
Does
you can
that
stay.
violate a fire code? Pull
It
that
does
up. Google it.
violate a fire code? A fire code and a law are not the same
Does
thing. That is a code,
falling
my friend.
asleep
That's a civil
on a
ordinance.
college
That's not a law.
campus violate the fire code?
I don't remember voting for fire codes when I
Okay,
vote in
well-
elections. That's called a code.
I don't even know.
Hmm.
Where do you want me to go here? So Google AI is saying no, but like, is there a source you want me to look up here?
It doesn't
Specifically,
exist.
Quora? Would Quora work?
There's got to be other people in this comment section that went to college and watched sleep-in protests or may have been involved in them. Especially big universities. I'm not going to say where I went, but if you went to a pretty big university, especially one that was pretty political, that was the norm. See, I
didn't.
did. I did.
I didn't go to a very big college, no.
No, well, that's fine. That's okay. But some of us did. Dan has now pulled up the code of conduct for Columbia
No.
College, as well as the law you said existed. We can't hear you when you're tabbed out, just so you know. The law you said existed, which is just a code. It's a fire code that's dictated by the county. It's not a law. You don't go to jail for it. Like, I don't know why you think codes are laws, but we're still waiting for the law, like the defined law.
Okay, so if you're violating a fire code, and then they come to enforce that code, what do you think is going to happen?
It's not a law.
Okay,
You know what's funny? They're not even going to issue. Do you know what's funny? They're not even. If you're going to let me answer it, you ask the question, you want the answer. They're not even going to cite the people that are there. They're going to cite the university. That's why universities
If they don't leave.
You're going to let me finish the question or the answer or not? I'm not sure which one you want. Universities usually have designated areas where you can do all this, but the university is responsible for those codes. The students aren't. As a matter of fact, like he just showed, the college allows them to stay overnight. They don't, I mean, do they want them to? Probably not, but it's part of our First Amendment right to do so. And until something goes wrong or we impede people's walkways or private information is given out or whatever, one of their rules, because there is a bunch of rules to be able to do this, is violated, there's nothing they can do. It's protected under the First Amendment. It's public space
I'm not
outside.
arguing against that. Okay,
What,
let's
I'm not
okay.
sure what you're
So you're
arguing
talking.
then.
Okay, let's say I'm all for freedom of speech. Okay, but there are laws that can limit that freedom of speech.
Fire
Correct?
code is not a law, though.
No.
And no, laws cannot infringe on your constitutional rights. You're
They
absolutely
literally
correct.
can't. So here in
Laws
California.
cannot infringe.
So here in California,
I'm in
listen.
California, so
Okay,
please go right ahead.
Can you go around and say I'm gonna unalive you? Can you do that? Even though it's a freedom of speech thing? No,
I'm
you
sorry.
cannot. I've been locked up. I've literally seen people locked up for like 5-6 years
God.
for a terrorist threat.
Are you comparing a terrorist threat to a fire code right now?
No, what I'm comparing it to is that the things that Khalil was doing was directly harming other people. It was
Not
inciting.
according to Columbia University, they weren't.
It was inciting the safety of other people.
Why wasn't he charged with a crime then?
They just support. Why go like beat around the bush?
No. He was.
You're here on
detained
the
in
visa.
United.
Just revoke the visa and deport him.
He was here detained in the United States, and because he did have a visa, he was still supposed to be afforded due process. They could have, I don't know, filed charges, but the university didn't want to. So I don't know. Like, this is pretty normal, and that's why universities have this on their website. Like, it's their rules, their campus, and you still
Can you guys
can't
hear like
infringe on your
Spanish music?
constitutional rights. Your what?
Can you guys hear like Spanish music?
I can now.
Dude, I live in the straight hood. It's so loud outside. All right. So no, what I was saying was, I don't know how clear Marco Rubio could be,
destroyed by stupid
but I
people.
think he was pretty clear.
Not very clear. We're using Marco Rubio as a source or an example. We're in trouble.
What do you mean? I'm not using him as a source. I'm saying that this person came here on a he lied in his application, right? His intentions were clear. He came here.
Wait, how did he lie in his application? He came here on a student visa and was enrolled in school and taking classes.
Okay, but
Where's
he's
the
not.
lie?
He's not going to school.
Yes, he was.
He's gathering a movement.
It doesn't
He's
matter.
getting
That's
people-
still protected under the First Amendment.
I got 1, 2, 3, three words in. He's gathering a movement. Okay, and what are his intentions? To harm to the campus. To cause harm to other
What
people.
evidence do you have that his intention is to cause harm? Did you talk to
He
him?
made it clear. He made his intentions clear.
When? Show us. Show us.
I don't need to show you. The world already saw it.
The world
That's why
didn't.
it's a done deal.
That's like, he literally
Wrap 'em
filed for a
up,
visa
pack
to
your
go to
bags.
school. He was going to school the entire time. Are they all the cognitive dissonance right now is unreal.
Yeah. Who said that, Dino? All around, thank you for the dinosaur, and thank you for everybody who participated and exercised your right to vote. That guest is now no longer with us.
I'm actually really sad at how many people are willing to throw away the First Amendment at this point, because it applies to them too. Like, we're just gonna trash it. Nobody will. He wouldn't look at any screenshots. The stuff that he told us to do and look up proved him wrong, and still won't back down. Dan.
Sorry. Last meme.
All right, kick me. I need to go back to what I was doing.
Okay, thank you so much, Anne.
Bye.
Making them right in front of us, no shame in your. All right, we're gonna go to the next guest. They cared about freedom of speech until they don't like what's being said. Yeah. He needs these in the Discord. Well, the lives are all recorded. It'll be on YouTube. Oh, you want it? Dan, thank you for practicing your First Amendment right. They need to new gift code. Okay, okay. All right, okay. We're gonna go to the next guest. Whew, okay. Do you think Hollywood tariffs are to control the media? I didn't look into them. Hey, Lisa. All right, we're going to our next guest. Here we go. You thought. Are we that boring, Dan? No, I had 4 slices of pizza before getting on live, so it's starting to hit me. And for some reason, Mac requires extra cheese whenever we get pizza, and so it's really starting to hit me. We're going to the next guest. The girl after my own heart.
Thanks, Obama.
Thank you, Daytay, for the sub. Thank you so much. Extra lactose intolerance. That last guess was factose intolerance. Haha. Hi, welcome up.
Yeah, what's up?
How you doing?
Not bad. I just was wondering, and I heard you say that Columbia University's property is public.
The areas for protesting, I believe, are would be public. Yeah.
No, all of the campus, any land owned by the university is actually considered private. There's no public land.
I'll
You
concede
can
on
check
that.
that out.
I do think he has the right to protest there as a student there.
It depends. Private universities have different rules when it comes to your rights of what you're able to do.
We
They
pulled
can
up-
fall under a different
Pulled
category.
up the rules from Columbia's website right there.
No, I get that, but yeah. Anyway,
No, I don't mind if listen, if I'm wrong on that like detail, that's totally fine. But I still think that like the point stands.
yeah, maybe so. But again, when it comes to private universities, they can set their own rules and guidelines that public universities don't have to abide by. So,
Mhm.
but no, I was just curious because you guys were talking about immigration. I guess this, Columbia protester. So, are you aware of what oh shit, what's it called? The summary. Let me pull it up real quick. Summary removal procedures. Are you familiar with those?
I am.
Okay, so you're aware that technically can help negate the typical due process steps.
That's not
By
what
making
that's
the
not what
officer-
Abrigo Garcia got though.
What's that?
That's not what Abrigo Garcia got.
Right, he was just deported.
Right, without due process. So
Right.
like I'm not sure why we
You
would
don't-
bring up summary deportation when that's just not the issue at hand with this constitution
But
violation.
wasn't his immigration status revoked?
It was not.
It would have to be revoked in order for him to be deported.
That's why there was a 9-0 Supreme Court decision that he shouldn't have been deported. I don't know if you know that. The Supreme Court ruled 9-0, which is insane, by the way. To get Alito and Thomas to side against Donald Trump is like wild work. You got to be really unconstitutional.
So I guess I'm just confused because even the ACLU, when Obama was in office, Obama did 2014 or 2013, he deported more than, I think it was like 400,000, and 75% of them were actually deported using summary procedures, removal procedures, some of which were actually U.S. citizens that were deported under Obama.
Couple things about that. Number one, that doesn't apply to what we're up in arms about, which is how Abrigo Garcia was removed because they didn't use those summary procedures. They just deported him with no due process. That's number one. Number two, Obama never violated court orders. If the ACLU sued Obama, as is their right, and if Obama did something wrong, which he did do some things wrong in 8 years, I'm not gonna say he didn't. And the court sided with the ACLU over Obama. Obama followed those court rulings that Donald Trump is not doing.
All right. No, I can agree with that. I guess I'm just confused because it seems like everybody on the left is up in arms, and many of them were Obama supporters and still are Obama supporters and wish that he was back in office. But yet, I just find the whole thing kind of funny because basically a lot of the stances that Trump is on, including tariffs and especially with China, as well as deportation, were left-wing talking points and things that the left had done. I mean, Nancy Pelosi stood up and preached for over an hour in 1996 about how China was going to be an issue down the road, which now we are facing that. So I just find it funny that the stance that Trump takes was actually ideologies of the left, but now because he's doing it and he's a Republican, there's an issue with it.
I think the issue, first of all, weird that you find it funny. I don't really think any of this is funny. The issue here is that you're comparing things that are not comparable. So you're saying, oh, Nancy Pelosi said that China will be a problem in the future. That's not why we're upset with Donald Trump. We're upset with Donald Trump for the blanket tariffs that are going to destroy our economy. You're saying that Obama was using summary deportation procedures. That's not why we're upset now at Trump. We're upset because he didn't even use that. He deported somebody without any due process and is violating court orders, or something Obama didn't do. You seem to believe that everyone on the left would back Obama even when he does something wrong, which is just not the case. A lot of people on the left called Obama out, especially in terms of drone strikes, which is something that Trump supporters can simply cannot do. They can never call out Trump for anything he does wrong. So I think the reason you're finding it funny is because you're missing what people right now are upset about. We're not upset that Donald Trump wants to empower the United States in relation to China. The problem is that that's not what he's doing. He's destroying our economy. Or I don't even know what the reason is at this point, because he claims that the reason was to get the more favorable tariffs and trade agreements, but then he also claims that the reason is to bring back manufacturing. But it can't be both. Is he trying to negotiate, or is he trying to bring back manufacturing? That's
he's doing a little bit of both. I mean, I'm a realist when it comes to that. I don't think we're going to bring back all this manufacturing that he's speaking on, but I think if we can negotiate better trade deals with other countries and strip some of that power away from China, then I find that to be a good thing. I mean, our economy was already heading down the shitter for some time. I mean, we have consumer debt at all-time highs. We have people that are missing payments on mortgages, and like to the extent of almost the 08 timeframe. Like, our economy wasn't doing good. And despite what Joe Biden said when he'd go up on TV and say, I don't see anything wrong with the economy, everything's going good. I mean, our prices on goods are going down, so I don't see how that's beneficial. I know we have tariffs on China right now, but I'll use Amazon as a basis. I can go on there and look at goods that I previously purchased prior to tariffs, and when I go on there now, I'm seeing prices go down.
Wait a second.
So I'm not really sure. And these are products that came from China.
So,
when I look at the
first of all,
country of origin.
we haven't even gotten our first post-tariff shipment yet. So, like, Amazon having a sale on something in your cart is not evidence of anything. I don't know.
But it defeats the point. It defeats this idea that because tariffs are going to take effect, because when the tariffs first went into effect or were being discussed, it's like, oh, corporations are going to raise the price on goods before the tariffs
and then
take
Donald
effect
Trump,
because they're going to try to capitalize on that.
And then Donald Trump pussied out and backed off on the tariffs. He did it 3 times, right? 3 times.
Did he back out though?
Yes.
Or
This is the first time. This is the first time that he has not
them?
backed out on the because China basically said, "Do whatever you want, bro."
Yeah, because China's actually hurting right now.
Are they?
Yeah, their economy's doing shitty.
As a result of Donald Trump?
Like, they were already going in the shitter, but it's not going to help them any when these corporations are essentially subsidied through the Chinese government. I mean, the Chinese government.
When China
has
continues to
taken
have
all
free
these
trade with
corporations.
all of the world, all the planet except for the United States, and the United States is losing the agreements and losing the free trade that we have with the rest of the world, why do you think China wouldn't do better off than we are? Because I can see if your argument is China is going to do poorly because the whole world is going to do poorly because Trump shot everybody in the foot, maybe. But there's no universe where us stopping to do business with China and the rest of the world means we're going to end up on top of China. China's going to keep on trucking.
It will hurt. It'll hurt China economically.
It'll hurt everybody.
But it'll hurt China more because they're dependent upon our consumers. I mean, 15% of goods that we import come from China. That's a pretty large percentage in the overall scope of how much they export.
Okay, so how about this? How about you come back once the tariffs, once the first post-tariff shipment comes in from China, and once our shelves start to look a little bit more sparse, once prices start to go up, you come back and you can defend the tariff policies. But for right now, you're just basing it off of something that was in your cart on Amazon.
Well, it's a pretty good scope considering that's where most people, with the exclusion of Walmart, purchase goods from on a daily basis.
Did you say your anecdotal watch list price drop is a good scope? Is that what you just said?
Well, it is when you're just looking at products that come from China. I mean, most consumers in America purchase goods off of Amazon or off Walmart, maybe Target, the big box stores.
Okay. Well,
so when you're seeing pricing going down, it kind of raises eyebrows.
That is definitely one of the takes of all time. All right. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, I'm good.
All right, we're going to go to the next guest. If you're here for the first time, I've lost faith in humanity. Wait, that's not. If you're here for the first time, thank you so much for being here. No, if you're here for the first time, thank you so much for. Is it being here? What's the thing say? What do I say? We're live Wednesdays to Saturdays, 7 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Eastern. Sorry, I'm out of it, chat. I'm out of it. We're live Wednesdays to Saturdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, doing live political debates, political discussions, and fact checks. We also try to be live for all major political events. So if you like this content, drop a follow, tap the screen. For those that have gifted or subbed so far, I did miss a couple people to thank. Unworn, thank you for the hand heart. Sim, thank you for the hand heart. For those that have gifted or subbed so far, thank you so much. I am really appreciative, but nobody has to gift, nobody has to sub. The only thing I'm asking for is to drop a follow. Thank you. And we are going to go to our next guest now. Might have to have a sleepy meter underneath the patience meter. The pizza is consuming Dan from the inside. No, it really is. I had two slices of extra cheese pepperoni, and then 2 slices of extra cheese spicy sausage. And I would have normally if Mac wasn't involved, I wouldn't have gotten extra cheese, and there would have been vegetables involved. There would have been mushrooms, maybe jalapenos, but nobody made you eat 4 pieces. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's not on Mac. That's on me. Cheese fog. Wait, you had 6? I don't know where she puts it, chat. I don't get it. It's not fair, right? She has 6 slices of pizza, has ice cream after every meal, okay? Every day, by the way. Before I met Mac, I had ice cream maybe, I don't know, twice a month. She has ice cream every day, and she weighs like 9 pounds. 95. I have one coffee that isn't made with Splenda, and my cheeks clap when I walk. Like, this is not okay. All right, we're going to the next guest. We do still have ice cream. Proof is crazy. Hi, welcome up.
Hey Dan, how's everything?
It's all right. How are you doing?
Good. Good evening. Good to hear from you. Let me ask you, discussing it before the universities and all that stuff, the good stuff, Does the universities have a right to have security at their front gates, and who to allow in and who not to allow, if they're actual students, or do they have that right?
For private universities, I do believe so. Yeah.
Or even I guess you're right, but let's say a university like Columbia.
I believe so. I'm not going to say 100% because I'm not an expert on
Okay.
university
So for
security.
starters, if you see the footage from yesterday, which I've seen plenty of it, you see them go. The security at the front gate tells them to hold up, wants to ID them, speak to them like any normal, stadium, any normal arena, and they barged past them. At that point, they were violating the university's rules and they have every single right to get arrested. The universities have the right to vet out who's coming into the universities, and these guys barged past that. So forget about the fact about free speech. 100% they have free speech. But they physically pushed their way past the security of the university. At that point, they should get arrested and taken out of the university for the nuisance they're causing.
What event are we referring to?
Yesterday there were massive protests by Columbia University. Did you see any of Columbia University. Did you see any of that footage?
If it was yesterday, no, I haven't.
Okay. So yesterday, a lot of these, what's interesting also? I think it's only 5% of the students that are doing this, causing this nuisance. Or maybe less.
What is this? Can you just tell me what this has to do with what we were talking about?
You were talking before about the rights of the students, if they have the rights to do what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you that before, it's a non-starter. These guys barged into the university. They have no right to do that.
You're saying these guys. I was specifically talking about Mahmoud Khalil.
Okay, so let's say the typical protesters that are following what he was doing, causing ruckus on campuses. Do you think that they have a right to be doing what they're doing if they are barging past security?
I'm going to be honest with you. If Columbia University has a process with security at their front gates, I don't think that's how colleges work. If Columbia University has a process with security at their front gates and people barged past security without, identifying themselves or whatever, then yeah, I think they can be removed. I don't know what that has to do with Mahmoud Khalil, though.
Okay, so then again, I'll get to him. I'm sorry, maybe I thought you were discussing in general because they were discussing about the legal ground before you were discussing about the legal rights on campuses and all those stuff.
Yeah, I'll pull it up again. This is from Columbia's Code of Conduct.
Code of conduct, even freedom of speech does not give them the rights to interrupt the whatever's going on the campus. They could go to public grounds on the campus and do what they got to do. They can't go into classrooms, libraries, or other stuff like that.
Yeah, Mahmoud Khalil didn't. So I'm waiting patiently for you to talk about that because that is the constitutional violation that my caption is referring to.
So what he did, in a basic way, what he did was he was on a visa. He was on a visa which allowed him to in this country for certain purposes, and he went ahead and basically went ahead pro a terrorist group. The second
Can you provide any evidence that he was pro Hamas?
What?
Can you provide evidence that he was pro Hamas?
He's saying they have loads of images and pictures of him singing pro Hamas.
Yeah, provide
songs.
that. Provide evidence that he was pro Hamas. I'll wait.
Provide evidence that he is. You could Google it. Go look it online. There's thousands of footage, thousands of images of him doing these stuff.
Doing what stuff? What stuff?
Singing songs like Intifada, Intifada, which is Hamas's slogans. That's pro-terrorist activity.
Do you know what the word Intifada means?
100%. But the way that it is used, when Hamas uses it, the context that they're using it is, we all understand what it means. And when you guys carry on like this, that's why you'll never.
I'm sorry, guys. I stopped the count. The vote was a blowout, and I'm so done. I'm so done with the people that come up here believe the guy who had 30,000 lies in his first term, and then when asked for a singular shred of evidence, we get, well, yeah, he used the word intifada, and you know how he used it. What is that? Emmanuel, thank you for the $5. This is the same clown who supports J6ers for throwing poop at the Capitol and abusing police. Tell guests to stop with the BS virtue signaling. He clearly don't give a fuck. True. Like, listen, if you want to come up here and tell me that Mahmoud Khalil was supporting a terrorist organization, just provide some evidence. I might agree with you. I'm more so. There are people to the left of me that are more sympathetic to Hamas. I'm not really sympathetic to Hamas. I'm sympathetic to the Palestinian people. I think the Israeli government is actively participating in a genocide right now. But I am not pro Hamas. So if you can show me that Mahmoud Khalil was supporting Hamas, I'd love to see it. The problem is that all you have is vibes. No evidence, no sources, no receipts, just vibes. Go to the next guest. Really give me a source that isn't opinionated. Bro, the source last night from the that one guy that was like anti-America and pro-Stalin, his source was a document that the top of the document said this is unverified information. Like, I am so done with these sources. Did these people not go to high school where we have like primary sources and we learned about like bibliographies and shit like that? We don't do bibliography. All right, go to the next guest. Please campus toss on the next guest.
Yo, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Do you want to talk about Columbia University?
What about it?
No. You're good. Go ahead. Why'd you come up?
I just don't think. So you think Kilmar was 100% like innocent?
I have no idea. I would need him to face his day in court to know that. I'm not an expert on Kilmar's life.
Yeah, I just think that both sides are kind of flawed in this one because yes, the Supreme Court ruled unanimously for your side, but there are also other implications. Where did it? That shows that he was probably an MS-13.
Like the tattoos on his hand?
No, just the fact that he was like literally with 3 MS-13 members whenever he was
at a Home
arrested.
Depot. I've heard this story.
No, he wasn't arrested in a Home Depot. I don't believe he was with like 3 other MS-13 members.
Where?
I think they were like in a house or somewhere, but he was factually with them whenever he was arrested.
When did this come out?
It's on lawmedia.org.
Lawmedia.org.
So, and I understand your side too, that like, yeah, is that someone talking in your background or is that like my YouTube or something? Okay. Yeah. Oh, I hear my like echo in your thing. Anyway, yeah, like I understand where you're coming from, your side, but it's like the opposite side, the right has like reasonings for why, you know.
When was he arrested?
I don't know. When was he?
I'm asking you. You're the one that said he was arrested with MS-13 people.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know the exact date or anything. But
you know that this is the totally not a non sequitur, and it's we can go back to. I'm not trying to pivot. Did you know that Donald Trump thought that picture with the tattoos on his knuckles? He thought that the M, the S, the 1, and the 3 were actually on his knuckles.
Well, okay, yeah, and that's an idiotic. If that's not true, then that's an idiotic assumption that he made.
Okay, I was just checking. Yeah, like I said, I don't want to pivot. We can go back to it. Okay.
No, yeah, I try to be as objective as possible. I'm not here to be like right and left team sport like a lot of people are nowadays. It's a problem with the landscape, but yeah, I mean, you look this up, lawmedia.org. He's with 3 other MS-13 members.
All right, let's look it up. Let's do it. You know what? I will engage here. Kilmar 3 MS 13 law meet. Let's see what we got here. The allegations seem to stem from double hearsay in a document authored by a later suspended police detective. Is this what we're talking about?
I don't know if that's the right one.
Lawfaremedia.org?
I think so.
Yeah, I just pulled it up for you. This is your own source.
No, let me find the source now. No, that's not the one.
That's
I'll
not
be right
the
back.
Okay. I'll wait. I don't know, chat.
Oh no, that is the one actually.
Oh, good. Okay, so like this is what we're gonna be deporting people based off of now?
Yeah, I mean you should read that whole article except like maybe the first line or something. I mean,
We can read it if you want.
yeah, we can.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay. In multiple filings, the government has conceded that it wrongfully removed Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia from the United States to a notorious prison for terrorists in El Salvador on March 15th. On April 7th, accordingly, the U.S. Supreme Court ordered, with no recorded dissents, that the government facilitate his return. But rather than try to right its wrong, the Trump administration has for weeks been resisting bringing him back and downplaying the gravity of its error. Both strategies have hinged on the administration's double insistence that Abrego Garcia is a verified and ranking member of a violent Salvadorian gang, MS-13. It has also argued that he is a terrorist in that 2 months ago, Secretary of State Marco Rubio listed MS-13 as a designated foreign terrorist organization.
You should Control F I-213. It's like a form.
Okay, so you don't want me to read the whole article anymore?
No, we can, but it will take a while. I mean, it kind of shows that both sides are in the right.
Okay, I-213. The government has not introduced either I-213 or GFIS form in its defense of Abrego Garcia's recent legal proceedings. The descriptions of those documents provided here are based on a characterization of them provided by Kessler in her ruling and Abrego Garcia's current attorney in his complaint. This is why they said double hearsay.
Yeah, so the judge, like, because of the I-213, which is like a form
that has not been provided.
No, it says it in there. Like the court used that as justification for removing him because the I-213 gives them justification to remove him. Like it makes him be deportable. And I don't know where in the article too, but it says that he was factually with MS-13 members whenever he was arrested. I don't know if you could like somehow find that, but it's in there. And I understand where you're coming from. Like the Supreme Court ruled something, then we should adhere to that. But it's also like this is the other side.
I'm gonna be 1,000% honest with you. I haven't seen anything in this article yet that sides with your take on this.
It's somewhere in there. I mean, the article is kind of more so like defending him too, but it also shows the opposite side. You need to read the full thing to do it.
Well, I was trying to, and then you didn't let me.
Okay, we can, but it will take a minute. I don't know if the audience wants to. Yeah, if you want to read the whole thing, you can.
All right, yeah, let's read the whole thing. Let's do it. We'll be quick. Abrego Garcia is currently being held in El Salvador's CICOT in a different case involving 137 Venezuelans whom the Trump administration sent to CICOT without due process recently. Credited evidence that CICOT detainees were highly likely to face immediate and intentional life-threatening harm at the hands of state actors. Abrego Garcia, who has no criminal record in the United States or anywhere else, denies the allegation of gang membership. On March 24th, his attorneys filed suit in Greenbelt, Maryland, asking U.S. District Judge, blah, 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 to order him returned. He argued, as the government has since admitted, that his removal was illegal because an immigration judge had granted him withholding of removal to El Salvador due to his well-founded fear of future persecution there from the violent gang known as Barrio 18.
Which is a rival gang of MS-13.
Okay. His attorneys allege that CICOT house members, houses members of that gang. The article explores the source of the administration's claim that Abrego Garcia's membership in MS-13 and its credibility, both on its face and in the context of other information known about this individual. Kilmar Garcia was born in San Salvador in 1995.
He gives a lot of like emotional pulling to it, but then once you get to like the facts, I mean, it's like.
Well, we even looked at your. I Control F for the form you were talking about, and the government didn't provide it.
No, it's in there. You can keep going.
Yeah, okay. The allegation
As
appears to stem from two documents that were introduced before Judge Kessler: a federal I-213 form filled out by
yes, that.
ICE and a form generated by Prince George's Police Department called Gang Field Interview Sheet. The latter had been entered into the
which the gang interview fact sheet is something that they like. That's a form that they fill out that shows the characteristics that he held to give them the right to make the I-213 form, which
Right.
the I-213 form
Right.
is the
But,
justification.
you know, the
deport him.
police officer here was suspended, right?
Well, that doesn't matter. I'm just telling you, like, if you keep going on, was he suspended during this or after?
No, he was suspended after his
Okay.
run with Garcia.
Okay, well, I still I don't know if that was due to something else or whatever.
Okay.
I'm literally trying to be objective. I understand your side because there are things that are like, that's
Okay. So
both sides.
Kessler, even while crediting the government's claim of gang membership, acknowledged that the two documents were, in at least one respect, glaringly at odds with one another. The federal I-213 form claimed that Abrego Garcia had been detained in connection with a murder investigation, while the GFIS form said that he and others had been arrested because they were loitering outside a Home Depot. This is what I was talking about before when you said it was not outside of a Home Depot. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think that was a false thing. Like they said that, but I don't think that he was actually. I don't think that was the actual reasoning. I think that was just like purported to be why. It literally says it in there. Like he was arrested when with 3 other MS-13 members. If you
Tell me where, man. I'm looking.
let me
3.
find it.
Okay, here. According to his recent complaint, here's what happened to Abrego Garcia on March 28th, 2019. At Home Depot. I don't know. So can we acknowledge that I actually knew what I was talking about here? This was at Home Depot?
Let me see.
I love Tesla.
Like, you denied this so many times. It was at a Home Depot.
1 second.
Okay. Right here. Sorry. Right here. Thank you, Runation. Every time I make it, the words keep getting weird. Like, okay. And now they're gone. There we go. Okay.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah. At Home Depot, he joined 3 other young men looking for jobs. He recognized all 3, though he'd never interacted with 2 of them before. At 2:27 p.m., a police officer approached them. Later, officers from the county police department arrived and handcuffed all 4 men. At the station, the 4 men were placed in different rooms per the complaint. Abrego Garcia was asked if he was a gang member. When he told police he was not, they said that they did not believe him and repeatedly demanded that he provide information about other gang members. The police told Abrego Garcia that he would be released if he cooperated, but he repeatedly explained that he did not have any information to give because he did not know anything.
Keep going.
Okay.
I'm trying to find it. I swear it's in here. Let me just
Sometime thereafter, ICE officers arrived and took Abrego Garcia into federal immigration detention. The next day, ICE brought removal proceedings against him. The sole charge was under 8 U.S.C. Section 182A6A1, which provides that an alien present in the United States without being admitted or paroled or arrives in the United States at any time or place other than designated by the Attorney General is inadmissible. On April 24th, 2019, after nearly a month in custody, Abrego Garcia was taken to his removal hearing before, this is what's called due process, by the way, was taken to his removal hearing before immigration judge Kessler. His then attorney Chicas applied for his release on bail. ICE opposed the application, arguing that Abrego Garcia presented a danger to the community because local police had identified him as a verified active gang member. We just saw their evidence, which was, we think you're a gang member. That was their evidence.
No, if you go down, look, the paragraph that starts with apparently, relying on the assertions.
Apparently relying on the assertions of the I-213 form, which in turn apparently relied on the assertions of the GFIS, Kessler wrote, the respondent was arrested in the company of other ranking gang members and was confirmed to be a ranking gang member of MS-13 gang by proven and reliable source. This is relying on the 2 I-213 forms, which contradicted each other.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I'm just saying that, like, they found that to be, like, that he was in the presence of 3 other MSI-13 members.
Are we being for real? Or
Dude, yeah, I'm not on either side of this. I'm just trying to show you like what their side is. Their
What
spot
is
was
their
arrested.
side? Let me tell you the side I'm on. Okay, I'm not pro Abrego Garcia. I'm pro the Constitution. That's
Yeah, me
it.
too.
No, I
But they're
don't
at
think
odds
you
here.
are.
No, but they're at odds here.
Okay,
That's
what's
why
at odds
this is
here?
a hard case. Because it says that he was arrested in the company of other ranking gang members from a proven and reliable source.
Yes, but he even stated in the very next paragraph, Kessler, even while crediting the government's claim of gang membership,
Yes, and that's why
acknowledged that
there's
the
a
two
nuance.
documents were, in at least one respect, glaringly at odds.
But Kessler was the judge that like made this the ruling. So
And Kessler ruled that he can't be deported.
Wait, what?
Isn't this the judge that ruled he can't be deported?
No, this is the judge that was the one who gave the ruling for this. So yeah, they're at glaringly.
This is
at
in
odds with
2019.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's when we had the withholding.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, excuse me. It was a different judge. It was Judge Jones in 2019. Later in the year.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm literally.
The
just
government
showing-
did not appeal, by the way. So Jones's ruling is now final.
Okay. What? I'm literally just showing you like.
Emmanuel, thank you for the $5. This middle side centrist stance guest is on a complete BS. The fact the Trump administration has blatantly lied, ignored Supreme Court orders, admitted to administrative errors, and continued refusal of due process and defiance of the Constitution. I agree. Yeah, like, I mean, I get that you're saying like you're not on any side, but like I don't understand what about this art. Like this whole article is stating that he shouldn't have been deported, and the credibility of the claim that he is part of MS-13 is tenuous at best.
But Kessler was the one that gave the ruling for it, so she can come to the decision that this was glaringly at odds, the GIFS with the I-213. But it's like she's the one that ruled on it, so it's like, how do we go forward with this? If they're, I mean, she's a contradiction then. If she ruled on something that she said is at glaringly at odds, because you used the GIFS to kind of, I guess, make the I-213. They use the information from the gang information fact sheet to make the I-213 to give you like laudable reasoning to deport them. And even though they're glaringly at odds with each other, I mean, she ruled
What
on
does this judge have to do with the fact that the judge afterwards ruled that he can't be deported, and it was never appealed?
Wait, I thought you said the Jones one was before.
Jones is in October of 2019. That's after.
And when was the other one?
1 second. April.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, this is like the problem with it. There's two conflicting sides that both kind of have, you know, plausible reasoning.
What's conflicting here?
The fact that Kessler said that he can be
Kessler's a
deported
woman, but okay.
from the I-213, and it says they're glaringly at odds with each other. I mean, the whole thing is just
So
like
yeah,
a
in
big-
Kessler's opinion, right? There was credible evidence that that he was a part of MS-13. He was affiliated. Excuse me, he was affiliated with MS-13. That's Kessler's opinion. But that opinion is based on documents that were at odds, that have not been provided by the government, and based on the reports of a now discredited cop.
Okay,
Kessler
but he was
made that
discredited after.
opinion
He was
before the
discredited
cop was what's the word? What did I say before?
like chastised or
No, like kicked out of chat. What was the word? Fuck, man. My brain's not suspended. Of the cop was suspended after this happened.
yeah, I would need to know if the cop was kicked, if it was suspended because of this. If he was, then I could get more on your side. I'm just saying, like, once again, they found him in the presence of 3 MS-13 members. Were those tattoos on his hand also real?
They were at the ones that said MSI 1 and 3 were Photoshop. It was the ones underneath that they were claiming had to do with MS-13, which didn't really have anything to do with it. So you came in and you disagreed with me that you said they were found in a house. That was a lie. They were found at Home Depot looking for work. which is something that undocumented immigrants do every once in a while. They look for work at Home Depot.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, and so he was arrested. The police officer that wrote up the 213 report, right, lied about what the report was about because he said it was in a murder investigation. That same police officer has now been removed from the precinct, discredited, and suspended. At what point do you say, okay, well, it kind of sounds like he had nothing to do with MS-13?
Well, I mean, if he's in the presence of 3 MS-13 members, if he's here seeking asylum from a rival gang of MS-13 called Barrio 18, I mean, these are just like little, I don't know, they're fishy in the least sense. And I can be on your side like 70%, but the other 30% is like there's other fishy things in this that need to be, I guess, investigated more, especially when Nayib Bukele like refused to bring him back here. And he explicitly says this, I'm pretty sure, in the Oval Office. He's not allowing him back here.
That's okay. That's completely irrelevant. Because you know damn well if Trump wanted to follow the Supreme Court order, he could get them to play ball. We're literally paying for Abrego Garcia to remain there.
Yeah, I mean,
so like, if you want to be intellectually honest, you know damn well that if Trump wanted him back, he'd be back.
Well, at the expense of what? Like starting a conflict of El Salvador?
It's not a conflict. It's
well, that's like
we need this guy back.
Correct?
It's like super simple. It's just Bukele, we need this guy back.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if Nayib Bukele says we're not giving him back, what do we do in return for that? Like, if the leader of the country that this guy is native to is refusing to bring him back,
we would stop paying them for their services?
Don't you think that he should have jurisdiction to decide, especially when the I-213 form showed that he's like it's plausible to deport him?
If you really think that Bukele is putting his feet down and it has nothing to do with Trump, then we should just stop paying El Salvador for their services, because if they're not going to help us to comply with the Supreme Court, then why the fuck would we pay them? Kind of sounds like if that's the case, Trump is really weak, right?
I'm not sure about all this. I'm just giving you the opposite side. Like, I don't think that this.
Oh no, we don't do devil's advocate shit here. Like, just give me what you believe. Like, I'm not gonna waste time debating someone that's not here.
I think it's fishy from both sides.
Okay, what's the fishy part? What's the fishy part from the pro due process side? Can you just explain that?
From the pro due process side, I mean that the Supreme Court ruled unanimously that he should be brought back here, but it's also like
that's the pro due process side.
Yeah.
Yep. So what's fishy about the Supreme Court ruling that?
It's just these other things. It's almost like this story that has two sides to it. If he's arrested in the presence of 3 MS-13 members, he's here because he's seeking asylum from a rival gang of MS-13. That's a little fishy to me.
Well, okay, the rival gang of MS-13 thing, that's not in the court documents at all, like what you're saying.
No. It literally says that he seeked asylum here.
This guy stinks!
To escape Barrio 18.
Yeah, it did say Barrio 18, but you're implying that because Barrio 18 is after him, that means he must be an MS-13 because they're rival gangs.
No.
What's the evidence of any of that?
It's just the thing. Like, if he's in the presence of 3 MS-13 members upon his arrest, and the whole reason.
But they weren't arrested committing crimes. They were arrested being outside of Home Depot, which is something that undocumented immigrants happen to do. Okay. It's not like they were gangbanging.
Okay.
If he was arrested in a church, do we arrest everybody else in the church? Like, if you arrest a gang member in a church, the whole church is part of MS-13?
But he was also being investigated for a murder, which says it in that document.
And the cop lied. He was suspended. That he was not under any investigation for a murder.
We don't know if he was suspended because of this, do we?
Okay. You know what? Fine. What's the murder that he was being investigated for?
I don't know. It just says that.
Because it didn't happen.
What? It's in the thing. It's in that article that favors more of your side.
The country is being destroyed by stupid people.
Dude, come on. I'm literally trying to be like objective here and just show you that it's not one way or the other completely. It's fishy from both sides.
And I'm asking you, what's fishy on the pro due process side? And you said it was fishy that he was arrested with people from MS-13.
I've already given you my reasoning. I know you're about to kick me, but this is I'll just summarize my points. He's here. He was being investigated.
The country is being destroyed by stupid people.
Okay, these freaking Trump things. Okay, he was in the presence of 3 MS-13 members whenever he was arrested. He was first here because he was seeking asylum from one of MS-13's biggest rival gangs. The I-213 form gives them the justification to deport him. That was against him. So yeah, I don't know, dude. Dan, thank you for having me up. It was fun. Thank you for being level-headed. Unlike a lot of these other people that just mute you the whole time. Thank you for letting me speak. It was fun, dude.
All right. Narrator, it was not fun. Thank you, Miles. Thank you, Chris, for the meerkat. Thank you, Miles, for meerkat. Thank you, okay, Kristen, for the dinosaur. Thank you all so much. And thank you, everybody that sent roses. We hit the second goal. I'm trying to, so I want to make the goals like really small because the goals are supposed to be good for like the FYP, and I don't really want, like, I want them to be easy to reach. I don't really care as much about the coins as I do about getting more guests in the box. So we'll do a nice small goal here. We're gonna go to the next guest. If you all can do me a favor and just double check that you're following, everybody that's gifted and subbed, I really appreciate it. But the only thing I'm asking for is you just make sure you're following. Right next to my name, there should be either an orange heart or a gray heart. If you see a red oval, drop that follow button. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're also live right now on Twitch and YouTube. We are still under the cloud of the TikTok ban. It just keeps getting pushed down the road.
Thanks, Obama.
Thank you, Jillian, for the sub. So make sure you're following on Twitch or YouTube, or both. And we're going to go to our next guest now. Thank you, thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going.
It's good to hear.
You support Donald Trump?
Yeah, I do. I voted for him all 3 elections.
That's rough, buddy. You want to answer any of those questions?
Let's see. I wouldn't say Donald Trump hates the Constitution. I think he's questioning parts of the Constitution, which is what the founding fathers intended.
I don't think the founding fathers wanted the president to bypass the Constitution.
He's not bypassing it.
Okay, so when his executive order that repealed part of the 14th Amendment wasn't bypassing the Constitution?
No, because it has to go to the Supreme Court. And so far, the Trump administration has listened to the Supreme Court.
That's an interesting take. All around, thank you for the sub. Vanity, thank you for the hand heart. The Trump support, the Trump administration has not listened to the Supreme Court. We were just talking about the 9-0 Supreme Court ruling to bring Hilmar Garcia back to the United States that they haven't listened to. They've also violated other federal judge rulings.
Well,
go ahead.
So during that ruling, so there's 2 things. The 9-0 ruling does not mean that the president has to bring home somebody who is in a different country, right? Like the judiciary doesn't have the power to create that. Like they can't make that decision happen. I mean, you can roll your eyes and blink. No Supreme Court justice with, the hammer of a gavel can say we need to bring somebody home.
Okay, so you disagree with all 9 Supreme Court justices. You're a law expert.
No. Well, no, because they didn't demand the return. They said facilitate.
Has Trump
right?
facilitated? Has Trump facilitated the return?
He had the president of El Salvador in the Oval Office, and the president of El Salvador said we're not.
Did Trump ask him to bring him back?
I don't recall him
He did
saying,
not.
can we have him back? No, but
He
the
did not ask
president
him.
said that we're not getting him back.
Yeah,
So
so
it's sort of-
Bukele answered a reporter's question. Trump never once asked him to send back.
Sure, but the Supreme Court cannot demand that.
And based on what? Okay, can I get your legal background? Because you're now disagreeing with 9 Supreme Court justices, many of which have
it's not
very
that I'm
different.
disagreeing. legal challenge here is, can the judiciary dictate a foreign policy decision under the executive branch? And the answer is no. Their jurisdiction does not fall in the country of El Salvador. This person is no longer on U.S. soil. So, I mean, are you saying the Supreme Court should like be able to like call SEAL Team 6 in to like extract this person who was deprived of their legal rights?
Nope. I'm saying the Supreme Court can rule that the president has to facilitate the return of a wrongly deported person, and the president has not done that. That is what I'm saying.
I mean, your definition of facilitate and everybody else's definition of facilitate can be pretty wishy-washy.
Okay, tell me what Trump did.
Again, he had the president.
What did he do?
El Salvador.
Thank you, Sharjazi. What did he do? Did he ask him to bring him back?
Well, he had a full conversation about the whole situation.
Did he?
Yeah.
Where?
In front of the media. In the Oval Office. With
No. Bukele had a conversation with reporters. Donald Trump did not have a conversation with him about Gabriel Garcia. He talked about CCOT and how much we're paying El Salvador. He talked about that. He did not ask him once.
His administration did. Yeah, they had, what's that guy's name? The bald guy, Stephen
Miller, the Nazi, yeah.
Yeah, Miller, yeah. He was also speaking. They had Pam Bondi as well.
And all of them said that we don't want him back. They did not say we're trying to get him back and El Salvador is preventing us. They said we don't want him back, right? I can pull up all their statements, Pam Bondi and Stephen Miller.
That's fine, but
it's not fine. I'm waiting for you to show me, because listen, there is maybe an argument that you can say, well, that the Supreme Court wants him to facilitate it, and he tried his best. The problem is he didn't try his worst. He tried nothing. Right?
I get what you're saying. The problem is, though, is the Supreme Court doesn't have a hand that is long enough to reach into El Salvador.
Based on your vibes, and that's also not even what I'm asking you. Wait. No, now you're reverting what I said. I'm not saying that we should have SEAL Team 6 go into El Salvador. I'm saying that the ruling says this administration needs to facilitate the return of this man, and this administration has not done that. That is the violation.
Okay, so I don't want to pivot, and I'm not. It's going to sound like a pivot, but I just want you to stay with me. So you're saying that I'm against the Supreme Court, correct?
Yeah, I'm saying that you are making claims about the law that seem to be at odds with the highest law, the highest court in the land. Yes.
Okay, so when the highest court of the land overturned Roe v. Wade, you must support that then, because it's the Supreme Court ruling on that.
I mean, I think it's the law of the land, and I respect that. I respect that Biden didn't just ignore it. Obviously, I disagree with the decision because of the implications that it has. But
what's your legal background, right? Like you can't disagree. They scholarly legally said that.
So you said you don't want to pivot. This is a pivot. Just so we're clear. This is 100%.
No, I'm not. But
I'm not disagreeing on legal grounds because I'm not a lawyer.
Decisions you want to listen to. Right? It's like, you can't overturn Roe. That is so unconstitutional.
When did wait? Okay, so first of all, there's an argument that is unconstitutional, and that argument was delivered by the dissenting justices. That was not a unanimous decision. But that's not my argument for why I didn't want Roe v. Wade overturned. I'm not a lawyer. My argument is based on the practicality of overturning Roe v. Wade and how it removes a woman's right to make her own healthcare decisions. Or removes a woman's right to her bodily autonomy, and how it's going to lead to more abortions, not less, and more harm to women, not less. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not I'm not having multi-hour lives talking about the 6 justices that ruled against the other 3 are off their legal basis. I'm not a lawyer.
What you're saying, though, reeling it back into the conversation of Garcia, it is simple. He is not in American soil anymore. There is no jurisdiction to demand anything of this person.
Stop saying the same argument, because you're talking past what I'm telling you. Even if you're correct that this ruling does not allow us to reach into El Salvador and pull him back. That's not what I'm saying to you. The ruling is saying that the Trump administration, my sentence, I know you were confused and you thought that my words meant that my sentence was over, but no, I'm actually still talking. What I'm saying is, Sarge, you don't have to do it unless it gets too crazy. What I'm saying to you is that Donald Trump needs to facilitate the return, and he has not facilitated the return. If you could provide evidence that he's tried to facilitate the return, I would love to see it. There is no evidence. That's because he's violating this court order, and you're basing your agreement with his violation of it on vibes.
Well, no, his administration has come out and specifically said that they cannot get him back.
Not
because
what they said. That's not what
exactly
Stephen
what they
Miller
said.
and what's her face said. Pam
Hold up.
Bondi.
That's
They said we don't
exactly
want him
what
back
they
because he's
said.
been from MS-13.
Nope. They said, quote, well, I actually don't want to quote it. I know the
Yeah, no, let's
exact
quote it.
quote,
Let's
but
quote
they
it.
said, okay, well, let me go get my computer then. Because they said specifically, we cannot get him back because El Salvador will not release him.
Okay.
That
Hold
is
up.
not our
Let's get it.
our jurisdiction. Okay. Well, let me find my Mac somewhere around here. But that is exactly what was said.
Let's see it.
We will. And you want to pretend like it wasn't. I don't even know where my computer is. I don't know. I literally don't know. Where my computer is. No, I'm actually being dead ass. I don't know where it is. I can teacup for a minute. I can pull it up.
Yeah, no,
100%.
teacup. I'm not gonna kick you. Don't worry about it. You're good. You're good, bro. In the meantime, chat, if you're here for the first time, thank you, Miles. If you're here for the first time, thank you so much for joining. We're live Wednesdays to
I
Saturdays.
don't know if I'm back
Oh.
or not, or if we're still here.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Let me.
One Tesla. Hello?
Are you there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's gone. Just wanted to interrupt my plug. We're live Wednesdays to Saturdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, doing
No, my
live.
bad. I'm trying to use app switcher. It's from a page called Democracy Docket. I mean, I could look more into it, but let me grab the title because I can't app switch without me pausing. So, Democracy Docket, dated April 14th, 2025. And then the title is Trump administration refuses to return man. And it's like, time I try to app switch, it's pausing, but you should be able to find it.
Let's find Democracy Docket. Okay. Despite SCOTUS ruling, Trump administration refuses to return man at wrongfully sent to a Salvadorian prison. This one?
Yep. And if you look 3 down, it specifically quotes Stephen Miller talking about how the order would break the sovereignty of El Salvador and that they would not be able to take him back because it is not within their scope.
White House
essentially.
aide. I'm going to finish the paragraph for you. White House aide Stephen Miller said bringing Abrego Garcia back would constitute kidnapping and an invasion of El Salvador's sovereignty, and also falsely stated that the Supreme Court had ruled in the Trump administration's favor. They never asked
There you
Bukele.
go.
They never even tried.
But okay, the conversation that you're having with me is how did Donald Trump facilitate the return? And my response to you was his administration has formally said on mic that they are not able to bring him back because it is not within the jurisdiction of the United States.
So your
It
answer,
would be breaking.
thank you, Miles. Your answer is he did not facilitate the return, right?
No, because they can't. The administration is saying they cannot facilitate the return, and Stephen Miller goes on to say why.
They
You may
did
not
not
like his answer.
try. They did not try.
Because they can't. Because the answer is they cannot, because it is not within their scope. It is outside of the United States, and it would break a sovereign nation's rules and regulations
Okay,
and laws.
so if that's the case, don't you think the United States should stop doing business with El Salvador if they're refusing?
No, see, but now we're pivoting.
No, we're not pivoting, because the fact of the matter is, if he cared about the Constitution or the Supreme Court and the 9-0 ruling, he would at least ask. Because yes, I'm not saying invade El Salvador. I'm saying, hey, can we get that guy back? He didn't even say that. So miss me with this fake.
The president already said no.
No, he didn't ask. Donald John, Timothy Trump did not say, hey, Mr. President Bukele, can we get that guy back, please? Because I'm a Constitution enjoyer. He didn't say that. So the fact of the matter is, they don't want him back. They don't care about the Constitution, so they're just going to roll with it. They're going to take their Nazi, Stephen Miller, and have him say, we can't do it. And then they're going to have a reporter ask Bukele, hey, will you return him? And Bukele will be like, why would I return him? He's a terrorist, which is based on nothing, by the way. And the Trump administration is going to continue to violate this court order, despite the fact that it's 9-0. We have Alito and Thomas ruling against him. 9-0. You're trying to say they can't do it because they can't invade El Salvador. Well, maybe we just ask nicely once. Ask nicely once, and man, your job debating this would be so much easier if your president had the balls to ask nicely once. But the problem is, he only wants what's best for him and what's best for his harmful rhetoric, what's best for his anti-immigration and
you're just
racist
getting
policies.
emotional over it, and the reality.
Yeah, I'm getting emotional because you're lying. You're trying to say that doing nothing is facilitating the return of Rodrigo Garcia.
First of all, you completely made it sound like when I said Stephen Miller came out and said that it was all the things that I claimed, you were like laughing, saying, all right, pull the source. I give you a source where he specifically says why he cannot facilitate the return.
No.
On behalf of the administration, that's exactly what they said. And now you want to.
He has not tried. I'm telling you, listen, it would still be a bullshit. It would still be bullshit.
What did the president say?
It would still be bullshit if he asked nicely and then continued to pay El Salvador, right? Because if he respected the Constitution and he's this whole America first strongman, it would already be bullshit if he tries and Bukele says no and then he's just like, oh well, we tried. That would already be bullshit. But he didn't even fucking try. Okay, so you didn't even get the courtesy from your cult leader. You didn't even get the courtesy to have that bullshit argument. Your argument is doing nothing is following the court order.
No, so host, the argument that I'm having is the administration has come out, and whether you agree with it or I agree with it, the administration has said it is breaking El Salvador's sovereignty.
I understand what the administration is saying. Why did the administration get to say that and the Supreme Court, they could just defy the Supreme Court? Supreme Court, legal experts, 9-0, you need to facilitate this. Trump administration, no we don't. And you're just like, yeah, that sounds right.
No, the Donald Trump's administration said specifically that they can't, not that they wouldn't, that they can't. And
did they try?
Did they try? No, it's not that they tried.
Yeah, so they didn't try. So they didn't try, which means they didn't facilitate shit.
He had Bukele in the
and didn't ask him once. Didn't ask him to return him.
He didn't have to ask. He came out and said that he's not returning them. So
he didn't have to
ask.
Okay, nice president. Nice baby back bitch you're supporting, by the way. I know George W. Bush, I know Barack Obama, I know Joe Biden would not take this disrespect from another president. To continue to pay them to house our prisoners, which, by the way, have committed no crimes in I believe 75% of cases committed no crimes. We continue to pay them. Supreme Court made me. I'm the president. Look at me. This is me, President Dan. Supreme Court says, Dan, you need to do this because you violated the Constitution. Me, President Dan, says, I care about the Constitution. Let me do this. El Salvador, please give me this person back. Okay? El Salvador says no. Oh, okay. Well, we're not paying you to do this person thing anymore. That's what an America supporting president would do.
Hold on. The legal problem here is the Supreme Court cannot tell a president how to execute foreign policy. That has never happened.
I understand what Stephen Miller, the Nazi, told you. I don't care. I take the word of the 9, not 3, not 6, 9 Supreme Court justices that disagree with you. Please get out of Trump's asshole for 1 second and use the wrinkles in your brain.
They didn't even.
Oh my God, bro. I can't do it. The strongest country on earth, and we're too afraid to ask. We're too afraid to ask. Supreme Court, hey, you know that Constitution that we all love? Can you not violate that? And he's just like, not only am I going to continue to violate it, I'm not even going to try to not violate it. Hello? Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Because no matter where you go with this argument, it's either Donald Trump is the most massive bitch of all time, every single president, including the guy who got stuck in the bathtub, or he doesn't give a fuck. I think it's a little bit of both. Where are all these traitors coming from? I remember a time when the Republican Party was patriotic. What the fuck happened? Y'all thought the con and Constitution meant con man and just believing Trump on everything he says. Y'all come back to earth for a second?
Hello?
Hi.
Oh my god, I wanted to talk to him so badly, Dan.
Sorry.
The Constitution and the law is literally my wheelhouse. I would have crushed him so badly.
Well, you don't understand. He's more of an expert than the Supreme Court justices. What do you think your words would have done to him?
Oh, I just wanted to ask him about due process. Like actual do you understand the Constitution? Did he even ever read it? Because from what I heard, it sounds like he didn't understand a single aspect of the Constitution and how all of these rights are guaranteed to everyone in the United States, whether you are a citizen or not, whether you came in here legally or not.
Well,
It's
you could get
just
him back.
stupid facts.
100% agree. Okay. We're going to watch a video or two, and then we're going to get the next guest.
All right.
Thank you so much for coming up.
Thank you.
You could get him back. There's a phone on this desk. I could.
In an interview with ABC News, President Donald Trump said he could bring Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia back from El Salvador, but he won't.
You could pick it up, and with all the power of the presidency, you could call up the president of El Salvador and say, send him back right now. And if he were the gentleman that you say he is, I would do that. But the court...
There it is. There it is. He's not facilitating the return because either he believes he's in MS-13 or he's pretending to believe he's in MS-13, whatever the fucking reason. He knows he can bring him back, and he's not doing it. This right here, that's it. That's it. Case closed. Actually, last guest, come back up. Come back up. Last guest, come back up. And just answer to this man, please. Let's see you spin his words.
I see.
What do you have to say about that clip?
Yeah, Donald Trump said he could call.
Okay, so you agree he's violating the court order then, right?
No, that's your interpretation of what facilitate means. Again, I will land it here. We disagree. The administration is clear.
So his interpretation of the word facilitate is just a blank, just white out. Nothing. Do nothing is his interpretation of facilitate. Got it. Miles, thank you for that. I know. Hi, welcome up.
How you doing, Dan? The thing is, he's able to do it, but he refuses. We're paying this order to keep our prisoners over there. So if he wanted to, he could demand him to come back, but they don't want to, as a basic fact.
Yeah, and whether or not you want to
I agree whatever you're saying.
Yeah,
and they're believing their lies from Miller, from Trump. Trump, I'm pretty sure he actually believes his own lies, and that's sad.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, before I didn't think so, but now I think he's actually like, he's sundowning. Like, it's when he believed that the M, the S, the 1, and the 3 were actually on the dude's knuckles. I think like we've missed the plot here. But yeah, no, it's like it's everything like you said. Whether or not everyone has the right to believe if this person is or isn't an MS-13 has nothing to do with Trump violating the court order, has nothing to do with the fact that he was sent to a prison without being convicted of a crime. It has nothing to do with the fact that he had a withholding of removal. Just irrelevant. So
yeah, I agree with everything you said, Dan. And thank you for everything, Dan.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming up. Hi, welcome up. Dan, the print man.
Oh, hey, yeah, sorry, I didn't know I requested. I was just tapping.
Oh, no, you're good,
But
man.
one of the things that I was going to actually say to that Tesla guy is the El Salvadorian president did not say that he wouldn't send him back. He said, the quote was, he can't smuggle him back into the United States. That's what he said while he was sitting in the Oval Office, which means that they weren't actually negotiating. They had already pre-planned that they were just not going to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming up.
No, thank you.
Hi, welcome up.
How's it going? So, hey, you are so worried about us bringing him back. Why would we bring him back when he's a legal citizen of El Salvador? He's in his home country.
Because a federal judge ruled that he was not to be
No,
deported.
the
had
judges,
illegal
the
withholding.
Supreme Court order said that the Trump administration had to bring him back if El Salvador wanted us to bring him back.
That is not what the order said. Wait,
That
where
is
are you
what
getting
the order
that?
says. They're supposed to facilitate him coming back if El Salvador will let him come
Let's
back.
read the
But
order.
El
Hold on.
Salvador says they don't
Wait,
want
let's read the court
us to
order.
come back.
Let's read the court order. Because now you're just lying. That's not what's in there.
I'm not lying.
Okay.
What are we supposed to do? Go kidnap one of
No,
their
no. Hold on. Before you say any more words,
we
are you
supposed to go kidnap
are you
one of their
walking back what you just said?
civilians?
It is not in the order. You know it's not in the order,
The
right?
president has already said he doesn't want to give him back. So why? What?
Whoa,
Are we supposed to do?
hold on. We're
are we
gonna watch
supposed
the
to
clip
do?
again. Watch together.
Get him back. There's a
No.
phone on his desk.
I don't care
In
what
an
Trump
interview
says.
with ABC
If
News,
the El
President
Salvador president doesn't want to bring him back, we can't go get him. Are we supposed to go?
So why do we continue to pay El Salvador?
Because he's not. We're not paying him anymore to hold him.
Wait,
That's not. He's not even
what-
in the maximum security.
If
prison
Donald
over there
Trump, I'm
anymore.
sorry, if my president, Donald Trump, right, cared about the Constitution and cared about this country, he would not be doing business with a country that is refusing to extradite the person that needs to go back.
To extradite one of their citizens back to the United States, why would we?
Because why would we what? Wait, who's
Why
we?
would we
Who are
send
you?
one of their
Are you El
citizens back to
Salvadorian?
our state? No, I'm not. I'm saying he is a legal citizen of El Salvador.
Okay, so you
Why
admit
would
Trump's
we let
you
him
admit
come
Trump's a
back?
baby back bitch, right? Just say it with your chest. Trump
See
is a
that
bitch.
right there? That proves my point. You can't think of any. You can't see anything other than through your Trump.
I'm
Rankin
seeing
syndrome
this.
eyes.
I'm seeing this. Ask me this question. Answer me this question. Do you care about due process?
Dude, do they care about due process?
Okay,
when
so
they
that didn't
come
answer my
to the
question.
country
Answer me this
illegally?
question. Do you care about due process?
Yes, I care about due process.
Okay, so why didn't it bother you that Kilmar didn't receive his due process?
Did Obama have due process for everybody when he was the deporter in chief in his term?
So number one, if he did violate any due process rights,
deported
if he
over
did violate any due
100
process rights, he was sued by the ACLU, and when the courts ruled against him, he followed those court orders. Obama wasn't an angel. He wasn't a saint. Okay,
He
I'm not in a
deported
cult,
3
even though I voted for
million
Obama.
people.
I'm not
He
in a cult,
deported
and I can
3
admit when
million
he did
people.
wrong. But he did not violate Supreme Court
He
rulings.
deported 3 million people and opened up camps here in the United States to hold said people until he deported them. All those camps you guys want to talk about Trump sending people to here in the United States, who made those camps? Obama did.
I understand that your brain is not functioning right.
So the only reason
Obama,
why you guys are screaming right
Obama's policies did not separate children from their parents, which is what we were complaining about during Trump. That's the thing. The problem is you guys don't know what we're angry about. I don't care. I don't know Kilmar Garcia. I don't know him. I don't know if he's a good or a bad person. I know that he had his First Amendment rights, his Fifth Amendment and 14th Amendment rights violated. I know that the Supreme Court ruled that the president facilitates him to come back. I know that this president doesn't care about the balance of powers, doesn't care about the Constitution, and doesn't care about anyone in this country but himself, and that's why I'm upset. You guys think that I'm upset because it's Trump, and you think that I'm upset because it's Kilmar Abrego Garcia. I'm upset because of the actions of Donald Trump. The actions of my president. Okay? I didn't vote for him, but he's my fucking president.
So did you hold that same energy when Obama was doing the exact same thing?
Oh, did Obama set up concentration camps in another country?
No, because he didn't work with other countries to do it, but he sent everybody away. He set up the camps here in the United States.
Okay. What?
So would you have been all right if
Do
we
you?
would've sent
I'm sorry. I'll answer your question. Not only was Obama sued by the ACLU for some of the violations that he did, those camps were not prisons. They were holding camps for people awaiting deportation. CCOT is a prison for criminals where 75% of them committed no crimes. Just answer. Are those different? Are the two things I just stated different? Because otherwise we just live in a different reality,
He's
right?
no longer in the camp over there. He's no longer in the camp over there. He's in a different prison now.
He's in a prison. He's in a prison.
Because El Salvador wanted him in the prison. He's a citizen of El Salvador. They can do what they want with him now. It's his.
So okay, so so you agree that Donald Trump is a pussy? He's not going to use his power as the president of the United States.
Why would he go after getting an El Salvador
Because
citizen?
because in this country, we have laws and we have a constitution. He violated the constitution and violated a court order. That's why.
You guys didn't care about the laws when these people were pouring across the border illegally.
I'm sorry. Which law? Wait, which laws? Which laws are you talking about? Which laws? Tell me.
Let's see here. The law that says that you have to have papers to come to the United States.
And which? Can you tell me which? Can you tell me which Democrat passed a law that says you can come over with no papers? Which was that?
There was no Democrat that said that, but guess what? The second Biden got in office, he took all of Trump's executive orders that were keeping the border secured. You can't tell me, listen.
Name one besides remain in Mexico. Name one, quick. Name one.
Literally,
Name one besides remain in Mexico.
He ended over 50 executive orders.
Name one that has to do with immigration besides remain in Mexico. Quick. No Google.
Let's see here.
Name one.
Remain in Mexico. Yeah, that's
it. And you know, remain in Mexico affected 70,000 people.
Many of them.
You know, remain in Mexico affected 70,000 people. Right?
You can't tell me. Okay, look at the difference between the border now and when the Biden was in. We had thousands of people crossing every day when Biden was in office.
Whoa, hold on.
There's drone footage of them standing at the fucking border, coming into the country.
There's drone footage of them standing at the border, coming into the country.
You can't run from the last 4 years. The border was wide open. Even Obama.
And I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you nicely. Other than repealing remain in Mexico, which affected 70,000 people.
There was over 50 executive
My sentence is very, very close to being finished, and then you can go ahead. Other than repealing and remain in Mexico, which affected 70,000 people, what other action did Joseph Robinette Biden take to facilitate, I know you guys love that word, the pouring of undocumented immigrants over the border? I will wait. You can say 50 executive orders, but I have asked every Trumper this question. Other than the 70,000 people affected by remain in Mexico, what is one executive order related to immigration that Biden repealed? I will wait. Got me? Anything? Anything at all?
Okay, so here's the thing. If Biden didn't undo executive orders, why did he sign executive orders in June of 2024 when he realized that the open border was a losing thing for an election?
I will answer your question. That's a good question. Thank you, Miles. Why did he sign executive orders in June of 2024? So Joe Biden did what presidents that aren't named Donald John Trump always try to do, which is to pass their legislative agenda through the legislature. And so Joe Biden endorsed multiple different pieces of legislation on day one of his. My sentence is not concluded, please.
Okay, go ahead.
On day one of his administration, he endorsed multiple pieces of legislation put forward by Democrats. They were summarily rejected by Republicans. No matter how many times we negotiated, didn't matter. So Republicans finally came up with a bill, the Lankford border bill, that finally wasn't so terrible that there was enough support from both sides of the aisle to pass it. It had 60 votes in the Senate and it had a majority of votes in the House if it were to go to the Senate and to the House. And
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. He was trying to get a border deal passed. I'll give you that. But let me ask you this. Why did he wait 3 years into his administration to do anything about the border while that bill was being debated?
I have answered your question.
You didn't answer my question. He left the border open and allowed millions of people to flow across.
And I'm
that
asking
border.
you, what do you mean by left the border open? What did he do to leave the border open?
Dude, go look at the numbers, and the numbers will tell
How
you.
did the numbers get there? How?
Because you tell me. Is it because maybe we had a president with some balls? I don't know.
What did he do to make those numbers so big?
He literally. What do you mean? So you're telling me there isn't a difference between Biden and Trump and the border? There isn't a difference.
Other
We
than
had
remain in
thousands
Mexico.
of people
Other than
crossing
remain.
the border.
Yes.
We had
Other than
thousands of
remain in
people crossing
Mexico.
the border.
Other than remain in Mexico,
So
there
maybe
was
it
not
just
a
the-
difference.
What if,
Let
hey,
me tell
what if
you.
it was? What if it was just the remain in Mexico that deterred people from coming here?
It can't be that because we know that only affected 70,000 people. Now,
But
I
is
will
the
give you.
border
I will
closed
give you
right
a little lesson here. Okay, I'll give you a lesson. When do you think the border encounters started to spike? Do you know when it was?
Yeah, the second they realized Trump was going to be in office, or okay, when did they start to spike?
Yeah,
they started to spike after Biden got in office.
That's the problem. You just believe whatever Trump tells you. They started to spike in March of 2020.
Country is being destroyed
Thank
by
you, Miles.
stupid people.
March of
Yeah,
2020.
because no, sorry, I don't believe that.
Okay.
Sorry.
How about this? Do you remember the chart that Donald Trump was showing to the crowd right before that guy pew-pewed at him? It was an immigration chart. This is Donald Trump's own chart. I will show you that chart, and we'll talk about it, okay? You don't even have to take it from my words. You can take it from Donald Trump's words.
So then, can you, while you're looking that up, can you explain why there is nobody coming? Why we have such low numbers coming across the border right now?
It's been trending that way since the last year of Biden's administration.
Since Biden signed the executive order
last
in June
1.5
of last
years.
year. Since Biden signed the executive in June of last year, the numbers have dropped tremendously because Biden realized, oh crap, this isn't going to be a winning issue in the election.
Here's the chart. You see this chart? This chart saved Donald Trump's life.
You can't deny that.
Okay. This Trump saved Donald Trump's life.
Yeah, look at that chart. Look at that chart.
Yeah.
It goes, yeah, there was a little spike there. I'll give you that. There was a little spike there. Then it plummeted again. And then what did it do? It went shoom.
You see, hold on. You see this arrow right here where it says Trump leaves office?
Yeah, I see that arrow where Trump leaves office.
You see that? You like that arrow?
There was also a pandemic in 2020 when people started coming across. And people were probably trying to come across. But
You're
then
so
look-
close!
look,
You're so
look
close!
what happened. Look, it fell completely back down, and then it shot back up as soon as Biden got in
Wait,
office.
so
and
you
it
see
never
the
came back
arrow,
down.
right? Do you see the arrow?
It never came back down until when?
wait, I'm sorry. Do you
Until
see the
when?
arrow?
When did it come back down? No, when did it come back down? It came back down after Biden realized
It came back down
he
in
was gonna lose the
2023.
election.
It came back down in 2023,
It came-
actually.
Bullshit. It came back down in 2024, June of 2024, when Biden signed his executive order.
Do you want me
and
to pull
shut
you the
border
stats?
down,
Do you want me
it
to pull you the
came
stats from
down.
ICE? I can pull the stats from ICE.
Go ahead, pull the
Okay.
stats from
I will pull the
ICE.
stats from ICE, but I need you to
Was it
recognize what's on
dropping?
this. I
Yes,
need you
it
to
was
recognize what's on this
dropping
chart
a
for a
little
second.
bit.
Thank you, Miles. I need you to recognize what's on this chart. I need you just take A, B, C real quick. Do you see the arrow, the red arrow, where it says Trump leaves office on
I
the bottom?
see the red arrow.
Okay. And you see how it starts spiking there?
Yeah, okay. There was a little bit of a spike. Look at the spikes all the way through it. I get that. But then you're missing the whole point. As soon as Biden got in office and got rid of all of Trump's executive orders, and the Remain in Mexico might have been the one that did it. But as soon as he got rid of those, look at the numbers spike. That chart doesn't go back down until Biden signs the fucking executive
You're
order
not.
in
I think you're mixing
2024.
up the red arrows. Do you see there's two red arrows? I'm talking about the bottom one. Do you see the bottom one?
Yes, I see the bottom one.
Okay. It says Trump leaves office, and then the numbers start to go up. You see that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who was in office then? What happened? Biden took away all the executive orders that Trump had on the border. And
Okay.
the numbers spiked.
Okay. So now what I'm going to explain to you, this is going to embarrass you for voting for this guy.
You're
That
not
arrow,
embarrassing me for shit.
that arrow is actually pointing to March of 2020. Donald Trump even recognizes that the last 9 months of his presidency were a massive spike in encounters at the border. And so when he made this chart, this miraculous chart that saved his life, he lied and said that he left office in March of
Why
2020.
are the numbers back down so low right now?
Wait, I need you to acknowledge what I just said. Do you agree that Donald Trump lied when he made this chart?
So there might have been a spike at the end of his presidency.
And
Why
he
are
lied.
the numbers-
He recognized how bad the spike was, so he
Look at
lied
where
to
it
you
really
guys.
spiked. Look at where it really spiked. It really started spiking in November when everybody realized, oh shit, Trump just lost the election. Let's flow into the country because the next guy isn't going to stop us. And then for
Oh, is that the reason? Wait. So if that's the case, why did it spike in March of 2020?
It was, look at the whole chart. Go look at the chart. It goes up and down, up and down. It's just like the stock market. It goes up and down, up and down. Now go look at the chart now.
Wait a second. Hold on. You see the spike in the last 9 months of Trump's presidency, and you're saying that that's just regular up and down? It's just straight up.
Look at the numbers. Okay, so can you admit, though, by looking at that chart, that Biden let millions flow into the country?
Okay. First of all, let and flow are crazy here. This is the chart of encounters, right?
Yes, it's the encounters at the border.
Yes.
All these people came into our country illegally.
Well, do you know what an encounter is?
How about how many gotaways got away? How many people came across that we don't know about? Right now we
How
have
do you expect me to
troops
answer
all over
that
our
question?
border and there ain't nobody coming
Okay, so
across.
do you know what an encounter is? Can you answer that? You can say no. It's okay.
Yes, it's so when they get talked to by ICE or when ICE encounters somebody. Or not ICE, but the Border Patrol. Sorry.
We'll just pull it up.
So are you sitting here saying that the border really wasn't broke for the last 4 years? You want to run on this topic.
This is how I look at I'm going to explain it to you. I'm going to explain it to you. very
Even all the Democrats will admit, even all the
I'm going to
Democratic
explain it to you.
politicians. Chuck Schumer was just on TV the other day saying about how the border was a mistake and letting it open and be open like it was a mistake and probably cost
How was it
him the
open?
election.
Just tell me how it was open. That's all I want to know. Just tell me how.
You tell me how it was open. How
That's
did we
the
go from
point.
having all
That's the
these
point.
numbers?
Listen, your argument. Let me tell you what your
Oh
argument
my
is.
gosh.
Okay. Your argument is the same as if Grand Theft Auto comes out tomorrow, and then you're like, "Thank you, President Trump, for Grand Theft Auto." Grand
Oh,
Theft Auto
that
6 is out because of Trump.
No, we have two different. Okay,
This is what's called correlation causation. You're making a claim that Joe Biden left the border open. I'm asking you, aside from Remain in Mexico.
I could agree with you on that if we didn't have two terms of Trump to compare the numbers to Biden's term.
What was happening? Okay, so you agreed that the end of Trump's term, the last 9 months, there was a spike. And then it continued to spike. Hold on. It continued to spike under Biden. Can we agree on that? It spiked in the last year under Trump and continues to spike under Biden. You agree on that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What was happening during that period of time?
COVID was happening. I'll give you that.
Uh-huh. Okay. And what did Biden do differently than Trump?
What did Biden do differently than Trump? He took away his executive orders. The remain in Mexico, whether you want to believe it or not, that's probably a big deter, because if people know that if they come to the border illegally and they're not going to just get released into the United States, they probably aren't going to come.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Am I right, though? If you knew that if there was no point in you going to the United States because they're just going to turn you around and send you back to Mexico, why would you even bother coming across?
The reason why that makes absolutely no sense, my good sir, is because, as Dan explained to you, there was a spike in 2020. Hell, there was a spike in 2019. Donald Trump declared an emergency at the border in February. But I do have a full list here of all
That's
of
the
Biden's
difference right
executive
there.
orders.
Trump
That's crazy.
declared
That wasn't
an
done.
emergency.
I do have a full list of the executive orders that Biden invoked, which revokes Donald Trump's. Do you know what any of them did? Because I know you read articles that said between 89 to 93 executive orders were overturned within Biden's first 104 days in office, which is a bold-faced lie. I have the full list here. We can talk about the one he passed, which is specifically 14011, which united the separated families under the Trump administration. We can also then talk about 13768. We can talk about 14013, which suspended the 1975 founded USRAP for review and found no cause to end. We can do the executive order, which preserved and fortified DACA, because Donald Trump tried to, undo the 14th Amendment. We can also talk about the 13986, which Trump passed his executive order to remove undocumented migrants from the consensus, which did help us get more funding for states and education, all that good stuff, by the way. Obviously, those who remain in Mexico, you're very aware of that. We can talk about the executive order, which actually increased the refugee count here in this country from 15,000 to 125,000, which actually made us money, because refugee asylees in this country make us a shit ton because they're much more highly vetted than even regular asylum claims. There's just several different things that Biden did in regards to the border that were actually good. And what's hilarious is, as you can continue to say he opened up the border, opened up the border, opened up the border, there was no spike in undocumented migrant crime here in the United States. None. So does open borders equate to more crime and problems in the country or no?
I'm
I'm not even done. There's several more. There's several more I can give you.
I never said that crime went up because of migrants coming in. My whole point is there's a legal process to come into this country, and these people didn't follow that. The numbers don't lie. The
72%
numbers
of them
don't lie.
literally
Which
did.
president had more? Which presidency out of Trump's first term and Biden's term? Who had more people come across the border illegally?
Biden did. I don't know what you think that means.
That means that obviously he was doing something wrong.
Wait,
No,
I have a
I think
question.
that
Wait,
means-
I have a
Numbers are
question.
down
Really quick.
now, aren't they?
Really quick
The
question.
numbers are back down.
Wait. Tell me, between the two presidencies, the Trump presidency and the Biden presidency, which presidency had the most pandemic started?
Dude, the pandemic started under Trump. Hang on. How many people died under Trump versus how many people
What
died
I'm
under
trying to
Biden?
tell you is that the pandemic started under Trump. It's not because of Trump. You're falling for causation correlation. You're just seeing.
But the difference is Trump couldn't control the pandemic. Biden could control the border. Trump has the border.
How do you reduce
right
encounters
now.
at the border? Wait, how do you reduce encounters at the border? Can you tell me?
How do you reduce? You deter people from coming here. The remain in Mexico policy, maybe? Don't come because you're going to not come in. You're going to be stuck in Mexico?
That didn't stop
The
them from
numbers
coming. He
prove
still
the
declared an
numbers speak
emergency.
for themselves. You
The
guys
numbers
cannot
that
say
Dan
it.
showed you,
I
they went
cannot
up.
believe
Here's
there
what
is
you're
so many-
missing,
hang on,
Austin.
hang
Hey,
on,
Austin,
hang on.
here's what you're missing. There was this thing called a pandemic. And when the world started to return back to normal, instability across the fucking nations led a bunch of people to want to come to the greatest country or one of the greatest countries in the world to get some financial stability. Duh. If
I
I
can't
was in a
believe you
third
guys
world
are-
country
there's so many
and then
issues.
someone told me about the great Americas where I can build a life for myself, I would go. And if they told me that there was a legal process for me to get in there called asylum, which as of 2022, 72 to 77% of them that did come here were through a legal process, then you best believe that I would try. And they did. And even the bad eggs that you're referencing, and by bad, you just mean people who didn't go through the ports of entry, which is protected by USC 1158, are just minding their bloody business, paying their taxes, and
So then
contributing
we
to
should
this
just
economy.
let the entire world flow
Did I
right
say
into
that?
our
That's
country.
crazy because I didn't say that. We have a process. And even
Yeah,
Biden,
they did
Sleepy Joe, as Dan also mentioned, which apparently you're not listening, had border bills from day one.
And they
Day
obviously
one.
didn't do
Your
anything.
complaints, no, because they never passed.
Dude,
Because of Trump
but here's the
and
thing. Here's
Republicans.
the thing. Hang on. I get that.
Republicans gave up on the border and you're
Legislation
mad at
takes time.
Biden. Hold on.
Hang on.
I don't think you understand this.
Legislation takes time.
Republicans gave up on the border and you're mad at
Oh,
Biden.
Yeah, I am mad at Biden because you can see the numbers. You can literally look at the facts and the numbers. The numbers don't lie. Biden had millions pour across that border. Trump didn't.
I got you. Cool. So is Donald Trump the reason to blame for violent crime going up in 2020?
No. What do you
Why not?
wait, Violent
not?
crime.
The numbers
going
don't
up in
lie.
2020. That was the pandemic going crazy.
Oh my fuck.
Oh my God. So okay. So let me ask you
Hold
this.
on. Biden could have passed executive action to crack down on crime through police officers, through military presence, right? Through National Guard.
Trump could have
He
passed
could
those
have done
executive
all
orders.
these different things. That's correct. And the lockdowns could have helped reduce crime. He was fighting against that, supporting the red states that had wide open
Lockdowns were
borders,
part of the
that had
reason why
wide
there
open
was so much crime.
policies,
People
which
were
led
going
to
crazy.
more people getting COVID. So I guess that Donald Trump is to blame
I
for violent
can't
crime
believe
going
you
up in
guys are
2020.
sitting here arguing. You guys want to actually argue
I
that
can't
Biden
believe
was
human
tough
beings
on
are
the
this
border.
dense.
You have all these issues you can be talking about, and you choose to die on this hill. On the
Yes,
facts,
I choose to
straight up
die on a
show
factual
The
hill.
the fact
that Joe
the
Biden
fact
tried to
based
solve
hill,
the
yes.
problem.
Biden allowed millions to pour into the country. Whether he opened the border or went down there and opened a gate or not,
You
more
really
people
love that
came
word
across that
allow.
border when he was president than when Trump was president in his first term. And now the numbers are even lower than when Trump was
Okay,
in
let
his
me help you out.
office
Let
the
me help you
first
out.
term.
So also, fun fact. So also, Donald Trump allowed a 500% increase in people on the T-risk watch list at the northern border.
What?
Because numbers don't lie, right? Did you know that? We've had a 500% increase on people on our national T-risk watch list at the northern border in the last couple of years of his administration. Did you know that?
Okay. So
Hold
now
on.
the Canadians
Let's
are
just do
coming to
numbers,
attack us?
buddy. Let's just do numbers. This is your entire argument. Donald
My entire
Trump
argument is
allowed more T-risks under his administration to come into the United States, or at least be met at the northern border. Why didn't he pass any policies to deter them?
He has. He's got the border shut down on both sides.
My guy, no, this is a numbers game. 500% increase. He didn't do anything.
So
I
what?
think
Now
what's
instead of
happening is that
one,
you're
there's
starting to
five?
realize that your logic is a little cuckoo.
My logic is not cuckoo. You guys can't even look at the chart and see, Biden was here and the numbers
My guy, we're the ones who
spiked
know
and
when
never
the spike
came back
happened.
down until
We are the
Biden
ones who
signed.
knew when the spike
The
happened.
numbers did not start falling at the border until Biden signed his executive order in June 2024. Did they?
Fuck's sake.
Like, I'm pretty sure the peak was in
No, they didn't.
2022.
Go look at the fucking
That's
The peak was in
correct.
2022, so that means they started falling in 2023.
No, Biden signed his executive order in 2024, June of 2024, when he realized that the border was going to be a losing issue in the election. He realized, oh shit, I better close this thing up or people aren't going to vote for me. So he signed an executive order in June of 2024 and the numbers started to fall.
I mean, it was a proclamation, but sure. You know what I find hysterical about this 95% decrease report that he's touting around for the border is that he decided to choose February 2024 to do that 1 year time frame and count that decrease. He doesn't talk about the 70% decrease that he had after August, September, October. He leaves that part out, but he starts from February. Do you remember what happened in February, Austin? That was when Donald Trump got to talking with Mike Johnson and a bunch of other Republicans. It was like, hey, guess what? If we pass this bill, I can't run off the border anymore because then Biden's going to actually be a good president. And then he shut it down.
Yeah. Yeah,
And then he shuts
and
it
then
down
Biden
and then decides, hey,
realized he
after I
wasn't
shut
going
this
to.
bill down that Republicans wanted and cried about for
And
years,
then
I'm
Biden
now going to
realized.
choose this time frame to tell Americans that
And
Joe
then,
Biden failed at the
hey,
border,
hey,
despite the fact that if he
Biden
allowed that bill
realized.
to pass through, the security that you guys alleged to want would have started to take
Biden
place,
realized
and then
after the
everything you wanted would have came true. But instead, you're coming up here slurping up his creamsicle over nothing.
When Biden realized that the border was a losing issue and that bill was not going to pass, he signed an executive orders and the numbers free fell
Because that's
at the
what
border.
happens when Republicans fail. You find other ways. You find solutions.
It's
Biden
called
chose
being a
to find
president, and
a
it's called being a
Biden chose
president
to
and
find
using your
a
powers to
permanent
shut the border down.
solution to the country's problem. A permanent solution. You know,
I will.
executive
Hey,
orders
listen.
can be
You're not gonna.
challenged by
Hey,
lower courts and the
You're not
Supreme
gonna
Court.
get me
They
to
can be
argue that we don't
overturned from
need
the
a
next
permanent
president.
or permanent
Dude, it's
solution to
been
this.
40 years
But
since we've
why
had the
wouldn't you
legislation that we need. 40 years.
listen?
The last
I
Republican to do
get
it was
that.
freaking Reagan. Why
I
can't
get
we get
that.
this
We
done now?
need a border bill. I get
And he's
that.
still not talking about a border bill.
Give him time. He's been there for 100 days.
Don't trust the plan.
Wait.
That's what
I
shit
just
on
need
the
to step
first
in on
time.
that. It's not just that he's not talking about it. He bragged about not needing legislation. He
The
said
border
all,
is secure right now,
all
isn't
the
it?
It's not.
okay. So the
The
border, we're
numbers
good
have
on the border.
free fell.
The border's good. Was it
The
good in the
numbers
last
have
year
free
of
fell,
Biden's presidency
haven't
then?
they? Have the numbers fallen?
When did they start falling? You already admitted. You said it was 2024. So we didn't
it
need
was
Trump
in
to do anything.
2024 after Biden signed an executive order to secure the border.
The executive order did not secure the border. Lower border crossings or encounters does not equate to border security.
What do you
We
mean?
still
What do
have
you mean? That
T-risk
makes no
risk in this
sense. Oh,
country.
people coming across the
Hold on.
border.
No.
That makes no
Because when I
sense.
mentioned crime, and that we
Oh
didn't
my
have a
God.
spike, you said I never
You
made an
guys,
argument of crime. I'm
dude,
not worried about crime. So we
you guys
understand.
make no
Hold on, no.
sense.
Did you not just
Did
say
you
that
not?
I never mentioned
You
crime?
just
Therefore,
admitted.
the
You just
crossings
admitted
that
that
you're
the numbers
referencing,
started to fall.
you're
You just
referencing
admitted.
does not equate to crime. So if
You
it doesn't
just.
equate to crime,
You
where's
just
the risk?
listen. You just
Hey,
admitted the
Austin,
numbers
answer my
of
question.
people
I just need
coming
you to answer my
across.
question. If it doesn't equate to crime, where's the risk? Where's the security risk?
People flowing into the country that we don't know who they are. That's
What would
the
make
crime
them a
is.
threat?
That's what the
Flow
risk
isn't a
is.
threat. People cross the border every single day. American citizens for work and otherwise traveling. So the flow isn't the issue.
Yes,
The
yes.
issue
What's
would
the
then be
difference there?
crime, correct?
What's the
The
difference
issue
there?
would then
They are
be
legal
T-risk.
citizens with what? Papers to get back into the United States. When you go across the border, you have to show your ID or a passport to get out of here, don't you? And you have to do the same to get back in. Do you not? So therefore, we know who's going across our border and who's
Those
going to.
papers does not equate to a threat or crime or
You
T-risk.
don't even know who came into the country. How do we know if there isn't a sleeper cell that came
We
through the border?
literally do 72 to 77% of the time. And the rest that we don't know, we have 150 years of data to show that they're not the problem.
Oh my gosh. I'm not saying that they are coming and committing mass crime. But the point is do you just let anybody come into your house? Do you have a lock on your front door?
Oh, God.
So if I want to
The
come just
fucking
barge
lock
into your house,
argument.
can I come
I'm so
barge
sick
into
of
your
this
house?
analogy. I'm so sick of it.
How is that a stupid analogy?
Because
Do
it's
you just let anybody
nonsensical.
walk into
My
your
house is in the country. My house is in America.
But you would want to know
What you
who's
guys
coming into your
conveniently
house,
leave
wouldn't
out
you?
when it comes to Donald Trump?
You
My
would
guy,
want
have
to
you seen
know
the
who's going
ICE
to come
report
into your
from
house.
March 2015 to April 2019? Have you seen that ICE report? It literally showed under Donald Trump, the second he started fucking around with Obama's policies, more level 3 offenders got off in this country. More criminals got away with shit. More American citizens are harmed because of him. And I can get you a name of them. One particularly in, I forgot the state. Dude went on a 9 people unaliving spree. Took out elderly. 9 freaking people under his administration. He'll never talk about that, but he won't shut the hell up about Lincoln Riley.
What's wrong with talking about Lincoln Riley? If that dude wouldn't have came across the border, she wouldn't be dead, would she? Thanks, Obama. Would she? Answer that question.
Thank you, Tracy.
If that dude wouldn't have came across the border, would Lincoln Riley still be alive? Would Lincoln Riley still be alive if that dude did not come across the border?
1 second.
She wouldn't have been unalived by him. Sure. Wilbur
She'd still be
Ernesto
alive.
Martinez. Wilbur Ernesto Martinez Guzman. That is the unaliver who went on an unaliving spree under Donald Trump's administration that he will hide under his bed frame because he doesn't want people to know just what his border policies caused. The harm it caused. 9 people gone because of his policies going after people taking Kit
You're
Kats from
talking about the
7-Elevens
terrorists
over real
that came
criminals
across the
made
border.
a serious
Okay.
issue in this country.
Okay.
Under
So
Donald Trump, by the way. And also, since you want to mention Laken Riley, do you know who Molly Tibbetts is? Since you care about women.
yes, I know who Molly Tibbetts is.
Really, who is she?
I can't exactly remember, but I've heard that name and I know that she was killed by somebody.
You can't, okay, then you can't make the claim that you know
People,
who she is
listen,
if you
listen.
don't remember what happened to her. So since you
Hysterical.
don't know, I will explain to you. Molly Tibbetts was a young woman that was unalived by an undocumented immigrant under the Trump administration.
So then we can all admit that undocumented immigrants are a problem. If we don't know who is in our
No,
country,
they're not.
it can cause problems, right?
No,
Mhm.
I'm not
they're
saying
not.
that every,
Undocumented
before you
immigrants
go and call,
commit
before
crime
you
at a
say that,
much
I'm
lower
not
rate
saying,
than
listen,
American citizens.
I'm not saying all undocumented immigrants are criminals. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, though, is when you allow people into this country without knowing who's coming into this country.
Oh, what happened to him?
My polls are glitched, but like 3 people sent dinosaurs. I figure he probably wasn't going to survive the election.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
I just,
Oh my god. I also was about to pull up the border encounters. They were slowly starting to go down in 2023, but technically they were starting to go because we can't determine crossings accurately, but they were going down in 2024, and they were actively going down from, I believe, February of 2024 all the way till now. So Trump hasn't actively done anything to actually pass anything for those numbers to gone down. And he kept complaining about Biden passing an executive order. What else did you want him to do? He was trying to find a permanent solution since the Republicans and Democrats can't fucking figure shit out. And Donald Trump, last I checked, he's not trying to find a permanent solution. He's only doing temporary solutions by passing executive orders. That's not going to fix the fucking problem.
he even bragged that you could do whatever you want with executive orders and you don't need legislation, which is pretty hypocritical for a guy who was criticizing Obama for passing a lot of executive orders.
Exactly. Crazy word.
Isn't that crazy? I forgot about that.
Yo, if you're not following Hector, if you're not following Maddie, drop some follows.
Trump supporters don't follow me.
Good to see you doing what you do best, Dan.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I am teetering on, I think I'm at 0.5 patients right now.
I'm at 0.2% patience. That's why I haven't been going live, because I'm going to end up yelling at someone.
Well, thank you both for coming up. I appreciate it.
Not a problem, man.
Not a problem. Just give a bat signal if you need any help.
Will do. Have a great night.
You too.
If you're here for the first time, thank you so much for joining. We are live Wednesdays to Saturdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, doing live political debates, political discussions, and fact checks. We also try to be live for all major political events. So if you like this content, drop a follow, tap the screen. Thank you all so much. We are actually currently live on 3 platforms, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch. We're still under the looming cloud that is the TikTok ban. No permanent solution has been found. So make sure you're following on the other platforms, which are right here, just in case TikTok does get banned. For everybody that's gifted and subbed so far in this live, and actually I'm going to thank the people that sent those dinosaurs in just a moment. I really do appreciate all the gifts that people have sent, but nobody has to gift, nobody has to sub. The only thing I'm asking is if you can just drop a follow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're going to go to the next guest shortly. Let me just thank some people. Tay, thank you for the 100 hearts. What else we got here? Anna, thank you for the dino. Kaveen, thank you for the dino. Who was who sent that first dino? It was either Neely or Miles, but either way, yeah, guys. I think I'm gonna take down the dino vote thing because my polls are glitched. I can't do polls anymore, so we kind of can't do that. Yeah, my polls are not working right now. So either I have to reset or we just I think we just take down the dino for tonight. We just have to raw dog the guests. Let me rephrase. We just have to talk to the guests without kicking them. All right, here we go. Hey, welcome up.
Hey Dan, how you doing today?
How you doing?
Doing great. Just got off work not that long ago. No, just pretty much wanted to come up earlier when Austin was in the chat because he was saying about the whole crossings and about Trump doing everything with the executive orders with Biden. But I wanted to ask him about the whole Title 42 and the Remain in Mexico, that the Supreme Court was the one that shut that down after COVID ended. That's why it caused a spike on the crossings.
Oh, right. So Title 42 ended when the pandemic ended. And in terms of Remain in Mexico, Trump can't even bring that back because it was shut down by the Supreme Court. That's right.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I wanted to come in and whoever is in the chat saying that it was Biden's fault that the spike went up. But beggars can't be choosers anymore. And about the whole Laken Riley, I always love to bring up the whole Las Vegas pew pew that happened a couple years ago under Trump that unalived 50 people and injured 500.
Yeah. Sorry, I think you might be driving, so I do have to get to the next guest, but I really appreciate you coming up.
Yeah, no problem. Take care.
Shauna, are you here? I'm sorry, I missed this. This was from an hour ago. Thank you so much for $100. You've made your return to the Daniverse Arena, ready to spar with the smooth brains once more. Let the cerebral gymnastics begin. Thank you so much, Shauna. I really appreciate that. I'm sorry I didn't see it before. Then thank you, Liam, for saying read Venmo messages. Thank you so much. Let's get some W's for Shauna in chat. All right, we're back up to 1. We're back up to 1. Okay. Oh, as a reminder, for those of you while you're all still here, okay, we are on the cusp of 100,000 followers. We're planning a big event. We're gonna be doing a crab rave. For those of you that know what those are, very fun. For those of you that don't, you're not gonna want to miss it. This crab rave is going to have special guests like other creators that I think you guys might like. We're also going to be hosting the Dandy Awards, which are like the Dundies from The Office, except no Michael Scott. Is that it? Fuck, I shouldn't have said that. It's like the Dundies, except we don't shame any long engagements. Good? Okay. Then I don't want it. Like the Darwin Awards? No. The people are gonna. Well, I mean, there's some fun categories. All right, let me say, and there's gonna be people. You're kind of Michael Scott. Please don't pull Scott's thoughts. What will the categories for the Dandies be released beforehand? No. I mean, I did mention 1 or 2 of them, but I want a lot of them to be a surprise, and I think you guys are gonna have fun. The awards are gonna be. That was so pretty. Dana, thank you so much. The awards are going to be like top 3, so like first, second, third. And there's categories like... We don't tell them any? No. Okay, well, they're really good. Mac doesn't want me to say any of them, but... Okay, we're gonna go to the next guest. Yeah, you have to. You don't have to be present to win. You're not gonna want to miss it. That's what I'm trying to say. You're not gonna want to miss it. You're not gonna miss the crab rave. You're not gonna miss the dandies, and it's gonna be it's a really huge milestone for this community. I can't speak for everyone, but oh, Paul, thank you so much for the $4 on YouTube. Thank you so much, Paul. I can't speak for everyone, but I never thought we were gonna ever hit 100,000. I didn't think we were gonna hit 10,000 until way after the election, and this is for any MAGA that are still in chat. This is like 10 times that amount. So, I'm really really grateful for everybody that's supported the lives and been a part of this amazing community, and I'm excited to celebrate with all of you. So, thank you all so much. And we're gonna go to the next guest. Also, while we're waiting for this guest to connect, big shout outs to Shui, Crazy Monsoon, and Shar Jazzy for being the top 3 likers in the first 2 hours and 45 minutes. I'm going to reset this so everyone has a chance. Paul, thank you again for the $10 on YouTube. Thank you, Dan. Big fan. Thank you so much, Paul. I got to remember to look over at YouTube and Twitch. Zach, you've been commenting a lot on Twitch. I'm just now seeing it. But thank you so much for your support. And Paul, thank you so much. Okay. Where were we going? Okay, we're resetting the likes. We can
Everything's computer.
a good measure. For those that are new here, by the way, a lot of the gifts are associated with sounds. So like when people send, for example, when people send, for example, a whale diving, you get
Windmills are driving the whales crazy, obviously.
if you send a night star, you get what else? If you send a hearts, you get
I'm blowing out my damn throat.
and so on and so forth. Obama, thank you, Coffee, for the hand hearts. Level Up Sparks, thank you, Dana. Dana, thank you for the Level Up Sparks. That's how that sentence works. All right, we're going to go to the next guest.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to join.
Oh, no, you're good. Have you been?
Pretty good. Just chilling. Hanging in there. After the first 100 days of chaos.
Yeah. All right, well, appreciate you, man. Have a good one. I will say there was one. Okay, there's one category. I will reveal one category because I need you guys to help. Okay, one of the categories is top 3 funniest names. All right. I think Bang Bus CEO, was it Bang Bus CEO? Is that what it was? I think that's gonna be one of them. But like, I know I've seen so many funny names, especially on the tap meter, but I've forgotten them. So if anyone remembers any funny names for community members. Which gift is? I'm so sick of these people. Jen, we actually retired that and we replaced it with
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
Rich Poor 84 better get a dandy. I don't want to spoil anything. Carolyn Levitt's top lip is a good one. That one's a good one. Write that down. Okay, I'm gonna DM you. All right, we're going to the next guest. Pete Hexet's liver? I don't remember ever seeing that. That's funny. Neely said she'll write it down. All right, we're going to the next guest. Chat, I'm losing focus. I didn't take my Adderall today. I didn't tell you. Oh, for those that don't know, a couple weeks ago we got officially diagnosed with ADHD. And I've been on and off Adderall, see if it works for me. I think it was starting to function, but I forgot to take it this morning. So Royal we got diagnosed. I don't know. I don't like talking about myself. I feel like we're all a family together. Most of us. I'm about to take aspirin because my head hurts from MAGA. Oh, I take ibuprofen for that. We're taking extended release. XR. Is XR extended release? Oh, ER. ER XR. It's both. I think it's extended release, yeah. So I was taking 5 milligrams and they weren't doing anything. And so we upped it to 10 and I think it's starting to work, but I forgot to take them today. So it's not helping. All right, go to the next guest. No, you told me last time not.
I just want to say these CEOs have two options with tariffs. They can either eat their price or they can pass it to the consumer. If they eat the price, they can remain competitive in our economy. And if they pass it to the consumer, we in a free market have other options to go to someone else who's cheaper.
What are the other options?
Do you think we're solely dependent on one country?
Well, hold on. Didn't Donald Trump issue tariffs for all countries?
Yeah, and they're obviously not getting passed to the consumer because inflation is down to 2.4%.
Well, the tariffs haven't fully kicked in yet.
Well, the truth is they can't get passed to the consumer because these guys can't be competitive at that pricing. That's just what it is.
Would that?
They
Okay,
gotta
so
eat part of
I'm going to ask you again.
literally.
What are the other source? What's the other source that we can go to if they're not competitive? Right? They pass the increase onto the consumer. Where does the consumer go?
Well, look, tell me what doesn't make sense about this.
This
They
is a
got
whole
two
lot of
op-
answering a question with a question.
No. All right. Just allow me 30 seconds. They have two options. They can eat the tariffs and take in less profit for themselves, or they can pass it to the consumer and they will get less competitive because their prices will get up. Okay, so it's probably somewhere in the middle. They're probably going to eat some of the tariff and pass a little bit on to the consumer because they want to remain somewhat competitive. So that's just what it is.
Okay,
And
so
that's- we haven't seen that.
Who are the competitors that will be?
I don't know. Start naming shit in the grocery store that you guys are so scared of. That's gonna the prices are gonna go up so much. Like, just start naming shit off.
So you don't have an answer to that question. You could just say I don't know.
Well, the answer is we haven't seen price inflation since Biden. That's the answer. We haven't seen it.
Okay, that's not true. I mean, we saw egg
Like what?
prices.
What
We
have
all
you
saw egg
seen
prices hit
those-
their highest under Trump. But
Well, if you want to talk about egg prices, you got to bring up the 500,000 executed chickens by Biden. If you want to do that, right? Don't you got to do that if you want to be honest? So actually, egg prices are down compared to a year ago. Absolutely.
okay. So
But can you name anything that just skyrocketing out of control because of these tariffs? Because I've heard all this fear mongering shit about the stock market.
okay, so
Stock
the
market's
price of
bounced
cars is going up. The price of the price of housing is going up.
Dude, the housing market is crashing.
And
right
when-
now. What are you talking about?
And to build homes is not crashing.
No, the
The
housing
raw materials to
market is
build new
crashing
homes,
right now.
which means
And-
the
hey,
supply is
guys-
not going up, making the demand go up. But
Guys, Dan, I actually work in home building. If you actually do want to look at the futures on lumber, you can. You can tell exactly how much lumber, the price of lumber. Just look up lumber futures, and it'll tell you exactly what the price of lumber is by the foot.
The lumber futures?
Yeah, lumber futures.
Do you know what
Yes.
futures are?
Yeah, I do.
What are they?
Well, it's part of investing, but it's kind of complicated. But
No, you could explain it to me like I'm 5.
well, you can invest in futures just like stocks.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty much material goods. There's futures in crude oil. There's futures in lumber, and it's the price of it. It's all supply and demand.
Well, no. If you're investing in lumber, that would be the price of it. If you're investing in futures, you're investing in the prediction of where the price will go.
No,
Right? No.
no. You can look at the.
Do you think
You
futures
can
are
look at-
what the future holds?
No, you can look at the lumber futures right now. Just go and look at them.
Okay, let's look at them.
Yeah, let's do it. The only time lumber really went up is in 2022 with Biden. It's crazy.
Okay, hold on.
The Democrats are projecting.
Hold on. I'm going to show you something. I don't think you're going to like it.
Okay. So they're down. That's what it looks like.
You know why they're down? From
Well,
this?
hey, can you hit that 5-year mark for me?
Yeah, I got you.
Because in 2022 it was ridiculous.
Do you see this right here?
Yes, I do. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in 2022, lumber was up. Why was everything up in 2022? Can you tell me? You know why?
What? Hold on. Why does that graph say 5 years and it's showing that what's all the way on the left right there? Is that 2019, right? Should be. Or 2020.
It's showing 2022. I'm guessing whatever lumber futures we're looking at didn't start until 2022. So if you want, we could go to historical prices, but this is no longer futures. That's why I asked if you knew what futures were.
Yeah, well that's what we look at, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think you know what futures are.
No, absolutely. You can totally look. No, you can 100% look at futures to determine the price of something. 100%. But yeah, go ahead and pull up what we got since 2022. Go ahead.
Okay. So this is the first spike right here in 2020. What happened in 2020?
The C19, start of C19.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
And then correlating with
Boom.
inflation, with the rise in inflation,
2
because of the
years
after
later.
effects of COVID, we have a spike here, right?
Dude, why couldn't you figure it out 2 years later? Damn.
What? Wait, what does this look like to you?
Yeah, but then look at it again. Damn. You had to figure it out 3 times or what?
So, do you recognize that these are correlating with inflation, which was a global issue caused by the pandemic, whereas the spikes
Well,
in
I believe inflation was
whereas the
caused by-
spikes in March and April correlate directly with Donald Trump's policies?
All right, now go back to that graph and see if they're really spikes. See if they are really spikes.
What does really spikes mean to you?
Really spike. You don't exactly.
Like you're saying
what
this
I'm
spike
saying.
isn't as big as these spikes. Right?
Fuck no.
Yeah, I agree.
They've always gone up and down. Look at Biden has little spikes like that too. It's like those are little spikes. Those are acceptable spikes.
Wait, hold on. Let's go to 10 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Look at Trump's first term, dude. That was beautiful. Holy shit. Look at that beautiful. Not really any spikes there.
not
Coming down. It literally came down and chilled out, and then you got whatever the fuck happened with Biden. Dear God.
Can you tell me what futures are?
Do you know how to invest in futures?
Once again, answering my question with a question. Can you tell me what futures are?
Yeah, dude, I already told you. Yeah, So there's plenty of things you can invest in the stock market. You got stocks, you got put options, call options, you got shorts, and then you can also invest in futures, and that's just simply the supply and demand of certain things. There's futures in gold, futures in silver, futures in crude oil. You can almost do futures in anything. You can do futures in hay, believe it or not. You can do futures in television. You can do futures in a lot of different things, and you can predict or you can invest your money off correct predictions and make a lot of money off of it. You tell me what you know about futures.
Yeah. So futures are a prediction market for where the price of those goods you're referring to are. Right.
Okay. See, this is where we're disagreeing. Absolutely disagreeing.
Okay. So you're saying that futures are what exactly?
It's a present market. Present. You're saying it's a future and a prediction. It's not.
The futures market is a prediction for where the prices are going to go.
And that's the only spot where we're disagreeing on.
Okay. So what are you saying futures are?
Present.
You're saying the futures are the present price?
Yes. And
why are they called futures?
Well, just because they call it something in the name. Like, why do they call options options? Why do they call stocks stocks?
Wait, I can actually answer this. They call options options because you have the option to either exercise it and buy or sell the 100 shares, depending on if it's call or put.
That's true. But why do they call them call options or put options? Tell me that. Can you say why they call them call options? Call option?
I don't know. Listen, I'm not going to pull it out of my ass. I don't know why they're called call or put options. I'm sure there's a good reason, but I can guarantee you that we're not calling something futures if they're referring to the present.
Okay. Now, are you saying this with certainty like I am?
You know what? I'll just put it in the old Google. The old Googler.
All right, let's do it, dude. Okay, let's figure it out.
Okay. What do you want to do? You want to do the AI overview? You want to go to Investopedia? Let's go to Investopedia.
Overview is always best.
Investopedia. A futures market is an auction market in which participants buy and sell commodity and futures contracts for delivery on a specified future date. Futures are...
You can buy an option on a future date also, but the price is current. The price is current. Like, I can buy a call option that expires next week. I hope it hits... For example, I want to buy a call option for $600 on the S&P 500 for about 2 weeks out. So the expiration date is in the future, but the current price right now is present.
Right. Okay. So that call option. This is a great example. That call option. The option is for $600, right, for the S&P.
Let's say
I'm assuming
May 25th,
you're talking about SPY, right? Okay.
May 25th.
May 25th, sure. That does not mean that May 8th, the SPY is at $600. You know that, right?
No. The current... So the S&P is at what it is presently. Now, that price of the option or contract fluctuates